The Oruga Podcast.
Somehow somebody's always looking the other way. Now look at these guys. They look busy, right?
Whenever I see people that are like, I can tell, like, man, you got rough.
Mm-hmm.
I always, like, try and be nice no matter how mean they are, because that's, like, you can tell it's, like, just self-defense at that point. Like, you're just trying to defend their ego because it's already so small from everything they've gone through and whatnot. And it's got to be, like, even though they might be like, fuck you, you got to be like, I love you, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
It's the greatest reflection. They got that all of their life. They've been beaten down their whole life. So, like, the only thing they know is to be a fucking asshole because people were fucking assholes to them, too. And, I mean, like, thank God for the internet, though, because right now, I'm able to listen to thousands of different podcasts of, like, cool people who do cool stuff, and they have a lot of motivation, and they really are into their craft. They're really into their work. They're really into talking and explaining about their craft and their work. And that's beneficial. I mean, like, it's not perfect. It's not like I can just go around the corner and see somebody who's really motivated. But, like, at least I can go into the internet, too.
Right.
And, like, see that there are examples out there in the world that do make a good life for themselves and enjoy life and, like, really maximize what this life is. And, like, ideally, those people are in your community. For sure, but not everybody gets that benefit.
Right.
Welcome to the Op. Be sure to check out Oruga's shop. We make shirts and hoodies that are comfortable and stylish. Follow @ShopOruga and visit orugastore.com. That is ORUGA store.com. Beat produced by Saipuda. Check him out at saipudabeats.com.
Hello, Mr. Preston.
How are you doing, man?
I'm living the dream.
Okay.
How are you doing?
You
Mr.
always say
Preston?
that. You always say that you're living the dream.
But it's always a nightmare.
It's always a nightmare for you. You're just like, before the podcast, you're just giving me a spiel about how much you hate your, what class were you talking about? It was solar panels for Africa. You're like doing homework.
I was hating that assignment, yeah.
Right. You were doing that homework last night when I called you too. What was that homework about?
We were trying to figure out what would be like the best scenario for different types of batteries. So we're just learning about what was it, like lithium batteries, learned about lead batteries, learned about silicone batteries, things like that, silicone based batteries.
Okay.
And then, like, most of the questions were about this guy named Sam who had a bike and he wanted to use kinetic energy to power his bike while going downhill.
Right.
And they were like, what type of battery would be good for him?
Mm-hmm.
How much energy would he make going from this distance to this distance? All of that BS.
Is there like is there a big difference between lithium and lead batteries?
I think that lead has a higher, I think it's just a weight. I believe it's a weight.
Okay.
So
there's no power difference? Really?
You want me to pull up the assignment?
Yeah. I want to know, because that seems insanity that there's no power difference. I mean, obviously, like, lead is supposed to be one of the heaviest metals that we have that's regularly accessible.
I believe we were looking at the capacity, so seeing how much it could hold.
Right.
And lithium compared to a lead cell.
Because lithium is supposed to be like one of the most sought out elements at this point in society, because we're switching from gas powered cars to EV cars, electrical vehicles. And so lithium has become a really sought out element. And then we're like, as America, we found a deposit somewhere in Montana or Utah or somewhere in western United States where we found a big lithium deposit, and we were like outsourcing for mining lithium too. So we're like trying to get like deals, I guess, with those mines to be able to like, this much of lithium is ours, you know, like we need this much. And so yeah. So what's the difference? What's the difference between lead and lithium?
So basically you just need a lot more lead to store the charge in like a lead battery than you would for a lithium battery. So you need less lithium.
Okay.
So and lithium's better because it's using less materials, I guess.
Is lithium a metal?
Yes.
It's just a metal. Okay.
For
is it like a soft metal?
I believe so, yeah.
Gotcha.
Like kind of like potassium, I believe it is.
Oh, and potassium's real weird too. That's a real soft metal. You can cut that with a knife, right?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
And then there are talks. Well, you should come to that solar panel class, I swear. I feel like you would enjoy it.
Okay.
But other day,
I wouldn't enjoy the homework, but keep going, yeah.
Other day they're talking about how they're using a new type of photovoltaic cell, which is like a solar panel.
Yeah, yeah.
And they had like a glass plane, and then they would have like this green glass plane that contained synthetic chlorophyll. So kind of like what's in plants.
Sure.
And that chlorophyll would like, I believe it generates heat, and then that heat would be converted to energy. And it was like super cheap and easy to make. Sorry, I'm trying to give you a good question. What is your output? What are you trying to create? Energy.
Heat? You're trying to create energy.
But
okay.
You collect the energy from the sun.
Okay.
And then it produces heat through the chlorophyll. And then that heat's converted to energy.
Okay.
And this guy that goes to UC had like his little mechanism set up with a crap ton of solar planes and that chlorophyll stuff.
Sure.
And like the temperatures of this apparatus was like reaching like 90 degrees just sitting out in the sun. Wasn't plugged into anything. It was just harnessing the power of the sun, which was insane.
Okay. And what is this like? What's the need? What's the utility? He's
from India, and what he was going to do was set that up and use it for algae culture in India. But he was trying to like revolutionize the algae culture in India.
Okay.
So definitely using that as some sort of like energy producer for a battery or some sort of machine out in some land in India. I couldn't tell you exactly how to use it, but he did say he wanted to use it for algae culture.
Interesting. Okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So, I still didn't understand that. Like, what was the... But that's okay. Like, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to dig any further. But, yeah, that's really fascinating. And also the fact that, like, solar panels, you only have two options. One is that you use the electricity at that current moment. Well, I guess you have three options. You can use the electricity at that current moment. 2, you could send that electricity back to the grid for it to be used elsewhere, and then you get your meter to go, counterclockwise.
Right.
And then
save money.
Right. Save some money. Earning money back from the grid. I mean, that's fucking cool. Or store that energy in batteries. And those are your only three options. And like, usually like storing energy in batteries, it really is kind of a fascinating thing, because like you have batteries that deteriorate, you have batteries that get overcharged, and then they kind of just don't really perform as well as they should be, or that's just you have like the power, how do I say this, like over time you get less and less of a charge. And so it's like, what is there you can do? Dude,
there's this company. Dang, I forget where they're located, but there's this company that builds batteries, like galvanic cells. Are you familiar with that? Like where they pour the like the liquid that's like a chemical, kind of like a car battery where it has like sulfuric acid in it. And then you have like the two pieces of metal. Remember that from like high school?
Yeah. No, for sure. Even in engineering, I remember that. We went over that stuff.
This company builds galvanic cells, however you pronounce it.
Okay.
the size of semi trucks. Like it's literally like a semi.
Like
truck
a trailer or
bed.
okay.
Not a bed. You know the boxes. What would you call that? Is that
cab?
A bed?
A cab.
Yes.
Inside
the thing
of
they
a
hold and haul around.
No, I'm
the
not.
Boxes.
You're talking about a fucking trailer. A trailer, a semi-trailer.
Sure, yeah.
A fucking, I don't know, they're like 32 footers or something.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
okay. A long trailer.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
It's
So
a
they
big
make
battery.
what for?
So they use the only thing I remember that they said was that they use potassium hydroxide, because I messed with that a while ago.
Okay.
And they use that to, I believe, produce electrons. And it's
Okay.
like they have like all this tubing and stuff. All the chemicals they're using are dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And this battery doesn't lose power over time. Like you could store it underground as like a doomsday battery or power supply.
Yeah.
And like when it fucking happens in 2,000 years, you'll still have all the energy you put into it.
It would still decrease in power over time, though, right?
Nah.
You shake your. There's no way that it could be like millions of years. Like there's got to be a percent, right? Every single
Not
million.
for this one, which is crazy. It's just I think it's just because
Are
the
there
basic stuff they use,
Mm-hmm.
like basic composition of chemicals that they're using,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't like when you use lithium, it produces heat, which produces, I believe, hydrogen or water or something like that, and that tarnishes that battery, and its lifetime deplenishes.
Okay.
But this like galvanic cell
Is designed for it to not.
yeah.
Okay.
And if
That's
you
fascinating.
you can like add more of like the solution,
Mm-hmm.
if like I don't know why you would do it, I forget, but like you can add more potassium hydroxide, more electrolytes, stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
electrons. I guess that's just to up the charge or up the capacity.
Okay.
Which
And, like,
is pretty crazy.
Are these like doomsdayers, or are these like people who are like, okay, this is when the grid goes out, we need these for hospitals, we need these for government facilities, we need these for just whatever to keep the country running?
I think all above, yeah.
Interesting.
All of those. It's
Okay.
pretty nutty.
Interesting.
Pretty nutty.
And so like, so how do you know about this project? Was it like
Saw a
YouTube?
video.
YouTube, yeah. And like, what were you finding this like through just the fascination of your class, or were you just like?
It was presented to us during class.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty wild.
Interesting.
There's a lot of different things you can do with batteries
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, especially since we're all like shifting towards getting out of like fossil fuels and going more towards solar. Like people are trying to be clever with the batteries for sure.
Right.
Like if you look at the original Tesla battery versus now, it's like the engineering that's changed is insane.
The Tesla has the new plaid, four-door, which goes 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds.
Jeez.
And then they're coming out with a two-door roadster, or like a new roadster. That's gonna be, I think they were saying like 2.5 to 2 point, or not 2 point, 1.5 to 1.7 range
To 0 to 60.
for 0 to 60, dude. I've driven.
That's dangerous.
I know. I've driven a few nice cars in my life, and like I think the fastest 0 to 60 I've ever experienced was 3 seconds. And I remember thinking in 3 seconds, I was like, I'm okay with this. Like if I had any more, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm excited I have more. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost gluttonous. Like you're eating too much cake and you're like, I don't need any more.
Yeah,
like
I
I've
feel
had
it.
enough cake. like 3 seconds 0 to 60. You're like, yeah, I'm pretty good on that one. Like that seems pretty reasonable. There's no way I'm going to be like half a second 0 to 60. Thank God, because I was getting real bored with 1.5, you know, like, so it's real fascinating. It's so funny how like the whole world of automotives, right? Like our general cars are even getting as fast as the sports cars used to be. Like,
Right, it's true.
your car that we just drove here to, like,
It can get pretty quick. It has a sports mode option in it too.
I bet that car is as fast as the fastest cars in 1940.
For sure.
I would put money down on it. I would, because like the engine runs more efficiently. They know how to have grippy tires. They know how to have like everything is just so engineered to a T that like it's amazing how fast our cars are now. But then our highway systems pretty much stayed the same. We're like, no, 60, 65, we're going to keep it there.
I like the 60, 65. It's
really?
even like, well, nah, never mind. I do be breaking the law. I do be speeding. So I guess it isn't good. Yeah. But I like the fact that people go slow and I can go around them.
Right.
I don't know.
Like in my Jeep, because it's a fucking horrible driving car. Like I love it, but it's such a not a fast car. So like I do stay to the speed limit. And I don't go around turns crazy, and like I keep it pretty conservative in that car. But like when I'm in a car that can handle and can go 90 miles per hour pretty comfortably, it's hard not to.
Yeah, I agree.
It's hard not to because you feel like, safer.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I agree.
I've been in some fast cars and I'm like, I feel unsafe going 55 miles per hour.
I feel like you're going too slow.
And you feel like everybody's just overtaking you and you're like, I don't. What's
happening?
Yeah. And then once you go 80, you're like, I can choose what goes down. Like I choose where I go.
Right.
And you have so much like just
options
to
get over everything.
And like even going into like on ramps, like onto the highway, dude, you feel so much safer going like 80.
Yeah.
And you're like, sure. I have options right now. I can choose where to go.
Yeah, I can get behind this car. I can get in front of it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter.
But like I have a slow car right now and it's like, oh fuck, I'm going 55. I might get killed by this fucking semi who's going 65. Like just little shit like that.
My parents have a Jeep Commander. I hate driving it.
Oh, yeah.
It does have the V8 though.
Right. Yeah.
But like even then, like the V8 is just more. You have to pay more for gas.
Yeah.
And it goes out quick.
Dude, Jeeps are, I don't know what it is, but like Jeeps are just such gas guzzlers and you don't know where the gas is going because you're like, dude, you're not fucking fast. This car's not that heavy. What's going on? Like, where is this? Like, is it just dripping out of my gas tank right now?
Shoot,
dude, like I can't wait to get a safe car. I'm at this point where like I love.
You want the Volvo? Is that what you want?
No, when I say like safe car, I just mean like I'm getting to the point where like a faster car seems safer.
Sure.
You know, because you can choose where to go. You know, you can go 30 miles per hour. That's true, but then you have the option to go 60 when you need to. Right. If there is a moment of crisis or if there is a moment where you can be like, I need to get the fuck out of the way of the semi or anything like that. And I can't wait until I can have that, like, you know, doesn't look like a safe car, but I feel safer, you know?
There's like memes. There's like memes on like, I don't know, like TikTok where it's like top 5 safest cars. And they'll like put the Ferrari, and they'll it's like top 10 safest car to show your parents to buy you. And it's like a Lamborghini, and then all like a Pagani on there.
Yeah. Dude, I was looking at a 918, a Porsche 918, and those things are. Apparently they've gone up to like some of the 918s have gone up to 600K.
Jeez,
and you're like. One day.
Nah, that's half of it. You know what? If you win that,
there's people who spend half. Well, fuck up. I don't need a Powerball to get that money. Bro, I'll just work hard.
5 numbers.
I will work hard. I will
hit 5 numbers.
I will be a productive human being. I will get that capital. I will get that car.
That's hilarious.
Dude, it's so crazy how like. I could dream about cars all day. Dude.
I feel it.
Cars have become so beautiful now. There was this car I was looking at that I totally forget who manufactures this car, but it's 2,000 horsepower. 2,000, dude. That's 1,800. 1,800 horsepower. Is like, yeah.
There's no way that's street legal.
Dude. Well, that's the thing. It is street legal. That's
Why?
crazy.
Why would you do that? You're going to kill a teenager.
Obviously, I obviously don't want that car. But, like, it's so crazy how, like, when we were growing up, the fastest car was a Bugatti Veyron.
Right.
Right?
For sure, yeah.
And that had 1,000 horsepower. And they were going crazy about the transmission. How will a transmission handle 1,000 horsepower? This has never been done besides an F1 vehicle. And then now we're like, yeah, it's got 2,000. You know, it's just whatever.
Wild.
Like,
Dude,
how do you not burn your tires to liquid?
Literally. I guess if you do max it out, yeah, you probably would.
It goes 250 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's insane.
Plus is what they say. 250 plus.
Yeah, that's insane.
And you're like, it's like one rock, and then it's over.
That's what
one
I'm
rock,
saying,
and you're
like,
flipping 14 to 15 times.
killing some teenagers.
I mean, yeah.
My material and energy balancing teacher,
Mm-hmm.
such a nerd.
Okay.
And he was geeking about the Bugatti transmission.
Right.
And he was like doing all this Python code.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like trying to teach us how to do Python code and use like engineering formulas.
Okay.
And he like wrote a program to like make a transmission that would like energy balance, not break down.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, this transmission is made by chemical engineering. This isn't like mechanical stuff. It's chemical engineering.
Okay.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
To like witness. I
Him
he was
geek
having,
out?
Like, he was
like he was nerding
out for
yeah.
sure.
He was like getting his fucking licking his teeth and getting his dick hard for chemical engineering.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty bad.
hilarious.
And he was like typing some crazy ass code, and you just say like, "What's going on?"
I mean, he is correct though, because like there needs to be a balance of like cooling it down
Right.
and like having all these things moving in like unison and no rough edges, and like I get where he's coming from, but that's hilarious. Yeah.
Yep. He almost made us like simulate the diesel engine cycle,
No shit, really?
like the temperatures.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. You know, could have just kept it gasoline, you know.
Right.
But nah, he had to go crazy.
Dude, did you ever see the hydrogen cars?
I have, yeah. They
I
have like
don't
the big blue tank on them.
Yeah, I don't understand why that didn't take off. Because like what comes out of the engine is water.
Right.
So it's like why that seems so reasonable. How bad of an exhaust do you think it is when it's just H2O, pure water? Because it's hydrogen mixing with oxygen, and then I don't know, like I guess you burn the hydrogen in some fashion and then
Produces water.
I guess out of the exhaust. I don't really, obviously I'm very ignorant to what the real process is, but like that was a big deal a decade ago, all those hydrogen cars, and then there was like hydrogen pumps, and then you're like, oh shit, like this might be the new, like instead of EVs coming out, like hydrogen cars, and then they just flopped.
I think Toyota still sells no, it's either Toyota or Honda I think it's Toyota. Sells a hydrogen car.
Really?
Yeah. I remember now. It's like they don't have enough hydrogen stations. That's the problem. There's not a lot of places to refill.
And then there's also the issue of like it might take a lot of energy to purify hydrogen. I don't know if that's true or not, but like I remember there was like that issue where like how do you collect this stuff? You got to collect it through the atmosphere, and then that might be.
If you go to the engineering building,
yeah,
like that material science walkway,
yeah,
like you go through the slide doors, open the double doors, and you walk straight.
yeah.
On some professors, like, you know, they have their names
And their
like,
posters about all their science, dude. I love those posters. Go ahead.
This teacher has like the mechanism of how to produce like
Pure hydrogen?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was looking at it.
In a lab.
I think it's just like on paper,
Oh.
but like it's pretty crazy.
Okay.
Like he didn't like really do a like acid base chemistry.
Okay.
What you would do. He did like it was just something weird that you would think wouldn't work. It's
Okay.
kind of like looking at exceptions. If that makes sense.
No, I don't. Describe. What do you mean? You said inceptions?
Exceptions, like things that wouldn't work normally, but in like this case, it happens. So
Yeah.
it's like something that I haven't learned yet.
Right.
And it's like I don't understand. That's not right. It looks
But
wrong.
hydrogen's the first element on the table, right?
Right.
And that makes it the weird, like I don't know how to say this, but like a strange element because there's just like so many capabilities with it. Can't you like pair it with a lot of things?
Well, yeah, there's like hydrogen bonding and all this crazy crap that it does. Yeah, it's actually like carbon and hydrogen are like some of the most important elements for organic chemistry, in my opinion.
Okay.
So,
Like it. And like, which ones are the hardest ones to even like malleable deal with? It's like the what is that? The gases on the right
noble
side.
gases.
Yeah, the
I don't
noble.
know. I think my fear sure, like bromine is pretty freaking scary.
Okay, what's bromine?
It's a noble gas.
Okay.
I believe it has like a orange gas that like spews out of it, and it's like a deep.
Like a byproduct? Is it a
No,
byproduct
like,
or
it's
it
bromine
is?
gas? Like it
bromine.
sublimes. I think that's what it's called when it like
Sublimes.
it's a liquid and it like produces gas. It's kind of like when you are at a body of water early in the morning and you see it like evaporating.
Yeah.
So it's like bromine is like, I'd say it's more black and it has like a weird orange tint to it.
Okay.
Like you look at it, it's like the middle's black and you can see that it's black, but you can also see that it's like has a little orange tint to it. And then you can see this orange fume coming off of it.
No shit.
Which is crazy. And it's like extremely toxic.
Okay.
So that's pretty scary. Pretty scary stuff. You can't breathe it in. You can't touch it really.
Okay.
Pretty scary stuff. And then like all the radioactive stuff, of course, all the new stuff. Not something I want to be around.
Okay, for sure. Are you like, since you're going for chemical engineering, have you like been having classes that have conversations about that stuff, or?
Yeah, there's
really
a chemical reaction that you do in a lab, and it's like super common, but it breaks double bonds. And apparently you have like a lot of double bonds in your eyes. So like if the whatever chemical, I don't forget what it was, but you know, mix it up, make it up. If it gets in your eyes, like the vapor, you'll temporarily go blind. But like it'd be like for 3 days, you just go blind.
Dude, I've heard about this. I've heard about that. And then I also heard that like I heard a few stories about a couple kids who did go blind from that stuff. Yeah, that's how scared would you be though if you like went blind for 3 days? You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. I thought from what you were saying, I thought there were a few cases of kids going permanently blind too, because it like burns your eyeballs, like, and it burns like that liquid in, like it burns your gosh, there's like like your cornea, just like burns your cornea out or something like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's real scary.
I just think it's crazy because it broke this chemical breaks all the double bonds in your solution, and it breaks all of them in your eyes.
Jesus.
Like, you probably have so many like different types of bonds in your eyes, you know, making up the liquids in your eyes or whatever, and it just decimates them and just makes you go blind. That's so insane. It probably like goes through hundreds.
That's crazy. Do you ever go into like human chemistry and like how
it affects your body?
Yeah.
You usually want to before you do an experiment. Like you'll like look at the chemicals that you're doing. You'll look them up online. Okay. You'll read about them, make sure they're not hazardous and whatnot.
To your
and
skin, to your lungs, and then
Then you gotta wear the right protective equipment.
Okay.
Personal protective equipment, PPE, and then also
PPE. Okay.
Also,
yes,
for sure. Okay.
You gotta. Not a lot of like chemists work with like everything on the periodic table. Okay. Some chemists just like specialize in like one thing.
Okay.
So if you're
just like one element and then just break that
one
motherfucker
type
down?
of reaction or one certain type of reactions. Like a lot of chemists
spend their life on that.
Yeah. Instead of working with like bromine, you might be working with like water purification your whole life as a chemist. Like that might be your thing.
Whole thing, yeah. And you can spend your whole life doing that, I'm sure. Because water purification, if somebody can figure that out for seawater, dude, you're an instant billionaire.
For sure.
You know,
crazy.
Instant billionaire. Because, I mean, water purification is like an age-old question. I mean, that is... Yeah. Have you ever heard about how much fluoride is in our water?
I heard they put it in there on purpose.
Yeah. So apparently... most public city waters have fluoride be put into water, and they say it's for our teeth.
Right.
But then there was another study that, and I haven't looked extensively into it. Like, I haven't read the scientific notes, but I heard that one, fluoride being in our water is connected to lower IQs.
Right.
And then there was a little slight connection of it being connected to autism as well, which I don't know if that's a big deal or not. But it's actually, I've been hearing a lot recently about how like our diet in America might be affecting like our diet and what we intake as like tap water might be connected to why we have such a high autism rate in America. Like we have a high rate, and it's kind of fascinating. It's fascinating that that's not really a conversation that we have as Americans, really.
I don't know if I told you this or someone else, but like if you think about it, not a lot of people have a strong background in organic chemistry, and even some of the people that do have a strong background in organic chemistry in general, don't know or don't care about the products that they're putting on their body.
Yeah.
So like, sure, you might be using your, Pantene hair gel, right?
For sure.
But why are you losing hair? You know what I'm saying? Like, what chemicals are in there?
Right.
And I don't think big corporations really care about the side effects as long as it keeps like your hair straight. Like if you get
is my hair glossy?
Yeah, like as long as you get that
Split
desired
ends?
effect,
Right.
people aren't caring about the side effects. Neither does the big companies. There's so many like lawsuits on like Procter & Gamble has so many lawsuits on their shampoos and soaps for having like dangerous chemicals in them.
Dude,
pretty insane.
So about a decade ago, I remember having Old Spice deodorant, and it was this like blue gel Old Spice, and they just came out with it, or maybe it was out for like a year or so, and I bought it, and I started using it, and I remember my armpits were burning.
Yeah, I had that too.
Burning, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, what is this?" And then. Like, I was like, man, is it me? Like, am I the issue? Problem? Yeah. So then I was like, I'm going to stop using that deodorant. And then instantly, I didn't feel it anymore. And I just remembered, like, days that I would use it, I would have this red rash.
Yeah.
Like, fiery rash. And it would affect me. But then I remember giving it to a friend. And I was like, yo, I'm just so curious. Use this thing. See what happens to you. And he used it, and he finished that stick. He was like, nothing happened to me. I was completely non-irritated. And I was like, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy that a product could fucking burn me, but then you, totally fine. I don't have any side effects.
Pretty wild. I remember having that same issue with Old Spice as well. And I remember telling my parents about it, and they're like, what is going on? Because I would endure the pain and just be like, I can't stink. And just use it.
Right. I would go the stinky route for sure, but keep going.
So like I had a massive rash on my armpits.
For sure.
It was pretty bad. And then I switched to Dove, and like, dang, like even when I started using it, like it was still pretty irritated, but I felt it like going away. And like when I was like, I had that rash for a hot minute. Did you use it as long as a month? I used it over months. I was using Old Spice for years. Like, all middle school and the beginning of high school, and I switched.
Right.
And, like, for the months that I switched, like, when I'd put the new deodorant on, it'd be, like, cooling. I'd be like, thank God.
Right. Yeah.
Like, jeez.
Dude, I remember for about a week or two, I used it. But I was like, I can't do sports. This stuff hurts so much. Like, I can't play basketball. I can't run around. You got like
super chafed.
Yes, dude. And that's the thing. As a kid, I was never like a chafy kid. Like I was skinny enough. Where, nothing rubs. So, it was just really weird to see that happen. And then like I remember like lawsuits were happening, but I was like, man, Like, the lawsuits were only happening because people were like, I can get burned from this. I'm going to use this and then use it as a lawsuit. I would assume, right? I don't know. But
why not?
Why not,
free
right?
Real estate.
Yeah, free real estate. Right, free capital, bro. So like, okay, so you going through all these classes of like of chemicals and blah 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 blah. Like, have you like changed how you are as a consumer?
Heck nah.
Really?
I do not care
You don't
because
look
honestly, honestly, there's so many
Right.
carcinogenic things in life that like if you really try to avoid all the carcinogenic thing, you'll be like pure wheat. You know, lab made wheat that's completely pure. You'd be fucking bland.
Yeah.
You'd suck. You'd be lame.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't go outside. You would not go outside and have a barbecue.
Okay.
Like you wouldn't do a lot of stuff just because it is a carcinogenic. You know,
what word are you saying right now? What does that mean? I'm ignorant.
Like something that this is the
It's
way I
not
think
natural.
about it. This is the way I think about it. It's like
Okay.
it can give you some sort of cancer. It's like a health hazard.
Okay.
And usually like a lot things that like bulky chemicals that have like a lot of carbon, like a burnt steak can give you like cancer.
Yeah.
So like if you're even like smelling the smoke off a steak is like extremely
cancerous.
toxic.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I actually didn't believe that little tidbit for a long time, that like burnt stuff is actually super bad for you. And that's the crazy part, is that like it was yesterday. I had some breakfast. I always get like an omelet and potatoes, you know, cooked potatoes, skillet potatoes, I mean, you know. And these potatoes had a little bit of burntness, and I was like, fuck yeah, that tastes so good.
Exactly. Like, how are you gonna pass that up?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna need to change that in my diet for sure. I try to avoid it, but it's so good though. It's so good.
Exactly. That's why I was like, you know what? It's not worth it. To,
right.
Like, trying to avoid everything. Like,
puts hair on my ass, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
God.
Our life is already finite. Why? You know, this is like something a drug user would say. Like, yeah, life's already short enough. Why not do black tar heroin?
Right, might as well. It's got fentanyl in it. Fuck it. I'm just kidding, obviously. I've been trying to clean up my diet recently. I was like making smoothies yesterday, and I've had a real shit diet for the past couple weeks, and like you just feel greasy and you just feel like ill, you know? And I've been like really trying to do well, trying to eat clean, and I had a smoothie. Like I put like all these fruits, and usually I'll put like kale and what else do I have? Greek yogurt, peanut butter just for the taste, and then I'll make the base as like what do I use the base as? Orange juice.
I see.
Dude, some of the best smoothies I've made. It's amazing. They're so amazing. And then once I have that like a sip of it, I'm like, I'm fucking healthy, bro.
I feel that.
It's so funny because I like literally had just one sip of it, and I was like, I'm fucking like the cleanest motherfucker out here. And like literally a meal beforehand, I had some garbage like fried rice and fried steak and like just super greasy, hard to digest food. And then it's just like it's such a like flip of the switch where I'm just like, dude, I can't be any healthier than what I'm doing now.
I feel it.
And I like that. I do love eating healthy because like it gives that kind of like sense of like, shit, I might live here forever, and like it's not. I'm not going anywhere right now.
Right.
And yeah.
I went to the Taste of Belgium. Have you heard of that restaurant?
Of course, yeah.
It's my first time going. I'm not a Cincinnatian. We don't go out in Dayton.
Yeah.
And I took Ashley there, my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she got. It was called a 4-berry smoothie.
Okay.
Have you heard of that?
I mean, I could deduce what's in there.
Okay, yeah.
Strawberries, blueberries,
raspberry,
yep,
and blackberry.
Okay.
I assume.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know how they did it because you know how many seeds are in blackberries, strawberries, even, and raspberries. And she gave me.
Usually blend them. Did you taste?
That's what they did. Yeah, they
Yeah.
blended it, but
Yeah.
like there were no seeds, and like the seeds are so small. There's like it was so smooth. It was like drinking water.
Oh.
It was great. I can't say water, but it was like,
Really?
you know those naked drinks?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're still kind of like chunky, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It was like smoother than that,
Really? Okay.
which is crazy to me.
That means that there's either two routes. One, they put a lot of water in it, or like they like diluted it a lot, or they pureed that motherfucker.
They had to like parade or something.
Really?
I don't know
Was
how
it
they
that
made
good
it.
though?
It was really good.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they made too much, so like me and Ashley got our own cups.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
It was amazing.
How did you like the taste of Belgium? Did
pretty
you go
good.
to the one that's close to here, or did you go on the west side?
I went to one by Norwood.
Norwood, east side. Okay.
I guess so.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by the mall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kenwood Mall?
Yeah.
By the Kenwood Mall, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Gosh, was that packed? Or was it
There
like
was no one there.
really?
Yeah. I was outside.
Did you get waffles at least?
I got the waffles.
Yeah.
Ashley got the crepe. The crepe.
Yeah. Dude, the waffles are crazy good, aren't they?
Yeah, it's pretty dang good.
There's
and they're like frosting that they put in it.
yeah.
Fire.
Dude, it's so good.
What is that called? Like buttermilk frosting or whipped cream, whatever.
I don't know. But I was thinking about like so there's the waffle and then there's a little coating. It almost feels like sugar, like a sugar-like coating.
I see it.
Oh, dude, it's like biting into a glazed donut, but that's just a little. It's so much tastier than a glazed donut.
For
So that's
sure.
what like your brain just gets so tricked into thinking this is okay food. We could have this. Like
Yeah, but it's probably like 10 times worse.
garbage for you. It's so garbage
It's
for you.
good though, for sure. I
They
enjoy it.
have a taste of Belgium at the Finley Market, and dude, yeah, that one's so good too. And like I don't know, like the people who work there too are like so tentative. They're like on their shit.
I see it.
They're just fucking on it. And like sometimes I would get like a to-go order of like
Right.
4 or 5 of those waffles.
Jeez. Wow then. I like how it's not too expensive. Like
Yeah.
you would think that somewhere like that would be super pricey, but
Mhm.
pretty good deal
Yeah.
for sure.
So what made you guys go over there?
I was just looking for breakfast, and I was like, you know what?
Mhm.
I went on Google. It was the first thing that popped up. I'm like, you know what? Let's go here. I have a
Right.
couple extra dollars. And I thought it was gonna be like, I thought I was about to
30?
spend like $30,
Yeah.
but I spent like half that. I spent like almost 20, if not like 21, 22.
Mm-hmm. That's a bummer that like we went to a diner last week, I guess, for breakfast, and it was like fucking $20 just for one of us. Like I
Yeah.
paid, I guess, $20 for a coffee and avocado toast, and you're like, come on, bro, come on, what are you talking about? It's $20. Like my coffee, you
wild.
didn't have to go fucking hike for. Like
You never know.
you never know. Yeah, for sure. It's
You know.
crazy how expensive shit's getting.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid,
Mhm.
honestly.
Like,
I think
what's
that
the average bill for you taking out Ashley now?
it depends. I mean, I haven't taken it out recently, but like
Okay,
25 per person. Like
25 per
that's
person.
the type of restaurants I'd be going to,
For sure, yeah.
and that's like $50 total. You know.
Right, and that's
then,
the
like-
good meals though. You
Yeah.
you have to have $25 per meal if you actually want to not feel like a piece of shit.
And then like on a nice night, it'd be like
Mhm.
almost 50. That's my max, like 50 each.
Yeah, yeah.
So 100,
Mhm.
120 max. So
Dude, that's the thing. Like some meals, like you got. I remember spending like $120 for a bill, and you're like, yeah, there wasn't much food, but like, you have to do it, right? Like if you want a nice meal, you
yeah,
kind of have to do it.
it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Pretty shameful. If I was gonna have a business, I don't know. I feel like if I could get like just a little profit,
Mm-hmm.
like I wouldn't be greedy about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd have the prices pretty dang low. For
Right.
sure.
This makes me go back to like me wanting a coffee shop. That coffee shop wouldn't be my cash cow. I would have other things,
Fair.
But like that coffee shop would just be a nice little, I would reminisce about thinking like, oh, I got $3 coffee, $2 muffin, boom, done. Just
Right.
like simple shit.
I feel
And
like
everybody's just trying to like drain every dollar out of every product. And it's like, dude, you don't get consistent customers that way. and you don't get good food that way. Like, if you're
Sure.
really trying to drain every single dollar out of every single product, you fucking lose customers.
I feel it.
And, like, that's why, like, the breakfast place that we went to, I don't want to go back, you know? But I need a breakfast place near here. Like, I need, like, a little breakfast diner. And then there's that, like, Sugar and Spice downtown. Have you ever been there?
No, I have not been there.
Sugar
What
and
is it
Spice
like?
is like it's like a 1950s diner, if
I
that
see.
makes sense, like real traditional 1950s diner. And it's so good though. Like, at least like the environment's cool, and like the inside of the place has like murals on like the ceiling, and it's just like it's like a little time capsule. And then
crazy.
but the breakfast is okay, right? Like for a breakfast diner, what do I want? I want like a omelet. Maybe I want
American
some
breakfast.
yeah.
For sure. Some sausage links, some bacon,
Right.
maybe.
Do you want patty or link? Like that kind of shit.
pancakes, waffles?
Right.
You know?
Toast, white.
Yeah.
Right. Like, do you want white toast? Do you want wheat toast? Just like the American special, truly.
Right.
And they were cheap though. It was like $12. Like, I say cheap, $12 per meal, which is like, which is cheap now. It just, I hate it, dude. I hate it.
I remember back in the day for like a buffet, it was like $6 getting into like Cece's Pizza, which is
Yeah.
low end, but like still, I
Yeah.
worked there back in the day. Pretty trash, but it was, that food was cheap though for sure. I bet if I went to Cece's now, it'd be like probably
Nine,
be way more
$9,
expensive.
$10 per person.
Yeah.
$8 for a kid. You know,
Something
not much of a
stupid.
difference, but still a difference.
I was watching a ice cream documentary. Speaking of restaurants,
Okay.
and it was on the History Channel. What is it? Graders.
Okay.
The guy, Graders guy,
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
on it. I saw that guy in real life, which is kind of crazy. And then there's this other ice cream, like it's an OG ice cream place. I think it's in Cincinnati
Okay.
or Ohio.
What's it called?
I forget, but
Okay. In Cincy?
I believe so.
Okay.
And they have like the OG, like what they have on like the signs and stuff, like the OG glass cups.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And they'll have like it's like almost like a float. Like the
Yeah.
OG floats.
Mm-hmm. Cherry
like-
on top with whipped
Yep,
cream. Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
big
for
old
sure.
striped straw. And they
Yeah.
have like these
And then
machines.
you
they
still have it with a
dispense it.
spoon, though. You always
Yeah.
have a spoon
Yep.
and a straw, for sure.
Yeah, one of those. It's still open, which is
Mhm.
pretty crazy.
Yeah. That is cool. That is cool. That's what makes me like, oh my gosh, Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake,
it's kind of
dude.
like a steak
Oh.
and shake, old version, the OG steak and shake.
Right. I always wanted like to go to I always wanted a restaurant to be like a nice version of Steak and Shake. You know, Steak and
Okay.
Shake is like a real kind of cheap kind of version of, of
The
it.
steak and shake. I had a steak and shake in my neighborhood growing up.
Mhm.
It was like 5 minutes away from my house. It was pretty
Oh,
uppity.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing, dude.
It closed down though, which is unfortunate.
Dude, a lot of them closed down in
Yeah.
like I guess like 2018, 2019. A lot of them closed down, and I never knew why. Like I there was a time where like me and my girlfriend at the time would drive literally 40 minutes to go to a Steak and Shake, and we're like finally get there, and then sometimes they would be closed down, and you're like, damn, bro, that's so sad.
That's unfortunate.
And dude, Steak and Shake was amazing. There was that Cajun burger. Fuck up that Cajun burger every time.
hilarious.
It was horrible for me. It was greasy. It was definitely bad for me. Like
The first time I
Uh,
went to Steak and Shake was
mhm.
with Ashley before we were dating and like a group of friends.
Whoa, Okay.
And that's when I realized that she was into me. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure.
crazy.
She into the black guys, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Were you the
That's
only black guy
racist.
of the group?
No, there's 2 others.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I just had to
two
ask, you know.
Black chick,
Right.
white guy,
Mm-hmm.
white chick,
Okay.
There's-
Okay.
and then there's a mixed guy as well.
Isn't that such a fun feeling when you're like when you finally get to realize, oh, that girl's into me. Oh shit.
Yeah,
And that's so fun.
Jeez, what?
Yeah, that's such a fun feeling.
It's pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's kind of like, dang, that's kind of gross sometimes. You know, like, you're like
No,
I
I
wonder what she's thinking. Like, that's kind of
Okay.
gross. Like, what does
Okay.
she want? What do you want from me? You know.
Okay.
It's like
Elaborate from that thought.
I
but-
can't elaborate on that. Stays in the brain. Stays in the dome.
Okay. That's
As,
so hilarious.
You know, Bobby Shmurda said,
What?
"No cats in the doghouse."
Oh, okay. Sure.
It's like-
Yeah. And then Swaley's like, I ain't got no type. Only bad bitches. Oh, I forget what that song is.
Bad bitches are
It's
the only
thing I
that
like.
I
Yeah. Of course. Such a paradox, man, but I like it.
Fair. Food. I was looking at food lately.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo. No, it's bison soup. I was looking at
Bison
bison
soup.
soup. I think that'd
Okay.
go hard.
Really? What's like the base? Is it like a broth kind of thing, or
You
is
know
it
what?
like a?
I saw bison soup and I was like, I sat back and I was like, man, that has to be good. I didn't even look at the recipe.
Right.
I saw some celery on there in the soup floating around.
Are these like grass? Well, I forget what they like. Are they free range? I would assume they're free range, right? Bison.
I don't know. I think you do have to have a lot of space to like have bison though.
For
So
sure.
I assume they'd be free range.
And then like, but that's the thing though. If they're domestic, they have like they're getting fed grain or something like that. Like you just got, I don't know. You have to make sure that they're pretty grass range, pretty natural.
I see, yeah. They sell like ground bison meat at Kroger. Which is
Okay.
insane. It's pretty good. Like I had
Really?
bison burgers one time.
Mm-hmm.
I made like a mustard sauce.
Cool.
I forget what I put on it.
How did
but
you cook it?
It's just like beef.
Really? You
But-
just cook it like beef? You just
I
like
forget if I cooked it more or less.
okay.
I think it's a little bit more lean than beef, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
A
A
lot more
little bit
lean.
less fat, right?
Yeah.
A little less fatty, which is really what you want. I mean, you want like true protein,
Right. I think that it also, if I'm not mistaken, had like a smell to it. Kind of like if you're
Oh.
like a sheep or a lamb
Oh,
or a
okay,
goat,
okay.
like a kind of
Yeah.
like a
A little gamier.
farm. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty dang good.
But that technically the gaminess is only a I don't know if this is completely true, but what I've heard is that gaminess comes from like how they kill the animal and how quickly they process it.
I see.
So like if it smells a little gamier, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that it's the animal. It's just how they processed it.
I see.
He's
How
like
they
they're-
got to like the intestines and stuff, all that stuff.
Huh?
Like I believe you have to like get all the like the intestines out and stuff, like
Drain
the acid in
it.
the stomach before it like destroys the meat.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fascinating, man.
much.
Have you ever had like the inclination of like wanting to hunt and like wanting to get your own meat?
I do,
Mhm.
but I don't want to have to gut an animal. That's pretty gross. Like
Really?
getting my hands dirty, cutting out the
What?
stomach, like that's pretty gross.
That's
like,
so primal, bro. You don't want to do
so nasty. Like
That's-
sure, like yeah, I'm not afraid to like cut meat. I'm not afraid
Okay.
of blood when it comes to animals and shit like that. Like,
but you don't want to
cows.
hear it about like
It's something about the guts that
Oh,
messes with me. It's the
okay.
guts.
Okay.
That's it. Like the meat, like a leg, I'm
Right.
chilling. But like the
Mhm.
stomach area,
Yeah.
that's where I'm drawing the line. Like it's pretty nasty.
Well, yeah, that's fair. No, I totally get that. I think like, I mean, I've never been hunting before, but I feel like that would be, I don't know, I would enjoy the process. Obviously, like, you're killing an animal and whatever, but like, I don't know, to know where your food comes from would be pretty satisfying.
For
Like,
sure.
I do want to go either like deer hunting or
But even then, like you don't know what they're eating. They could be eating like plastic on the ground, trash.
Stop it.
You know,
Okay, how about this?
some animals
I'll
like
give
bears.
you this. I'll give you this thought. If you kill the animal and you're digging through its insides, you'll know what's up.
Yeah,
You'll
for
know
sure.
what's up because you'll either see that red gold, meaning like you'll see that good meat, or you'll see like, oh, pus here, some like deteriorating muscle over here.
Yeah.
Here's some. The stomachs look
Disease.
black. Like there'll be signs if the meat's bad or not. That's for
sure.
damn sure. But like obviously, yeah, you do have worries about like there's a lot of like diseases going around with deer right now, and it's like I forget what they call it, but it's like gangrene or something. I don't know. It might not be that.
Is that where they like turn to zombies? Is
Pretty
that that
much.
one?
Yeah, it's that one. And then, but there's also other diseases too that animals could have. I mean, like rabies, but obviously deer is not. I don't know actually. I don't want to talk out of my ass, but it's still pretty. Like I really would like to do that in my life for sure.
I agree.
Imagine being able to stockpile your freezer full of meat for a whole, like, you don't have to go to Kroger. You're like, yeah, bison meat. Bro, I got bison meat I killed my own bison.
I killed a whole bison. I got a bison for a year in my deep freezer.
I went out to Texas and I killed a fucking boar and I brought it home. Like, that kind of shit.
Damn, I want a fucking boar. That'd be hard.
Dude, you know what's crazy is that they need those things to die, too. Because it's an invasive species.
Bro, have you seen the videos where they, like...
In a helicopter?
Yeah, and they shoot them down. Either, or they have, like, the explosives, and they'll put, like, the food, the bait around the explosives, and they'll go up to it, and they'll eat it, and then they'll, like, discharge it, and they'll all just blow up. It's pretty nuts. They have it on YouTube.
Dude.
You see, like, a boar hurtling through the sky.
My grandfather has been wanting me to go boar hunting, like, for so long, and I don't know if he's gone yet. He might have, but... he sent me every single video on YouTube of people in helicopters with AR-15s or 50. I've seen 50 cows unloading on just horrible. But I mean, they are an invasive species. They do destroy crops. They do destroy like livestock, and they are a menace to society because they're not supposed to be there. They're not part of that natural environment for sure. So it's like, you know, I mean, you could paint it as a bad thing to kill these animals, but they're not supposed to be there. So, I mean, it's like wild boar in Hawaii.
Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, they're rampant in Hawaii, and there's also like there's also deer there too.
How in the world?
But that's the thing. They brought them over, and then they become an invasive species. I don't know if they killed them all out, but I remember there was a story about. It was either like an African type of gazelle or just something that was like really, really hard to kill. And now they have them all there. And it's like, what? And I remember when I went to Hawaii, they were like explaining how wild boar were just like such a fucking menace because they're destroying crops. And it's like, what are we supposed to do if we can't grow crops? We got to import crops, and that's more expensive because we're in the middle of fucking nowhere, ocean. And so, like, I just remember they were just like, we need to kill them on sight. Like, they were going crazy. They were after it.
Man, I want to get a boar and, like, put some apples in it and, like, get it on a stick, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Churn, what is it called when you, like, spin it on the fire?
You're right. I think churn it or whatever. Yeah.
That'd be fire. I bet that tastes so good.
You need a big family to do that.
For sure. I have a friend that's Filipino, and they have this Filipino holiday, and they get the pig, and they do that shit. And I was like, bro, you gotta invite me next time. And he's like, nah, it's Filipino only. It makes me cry. Like, dang, I want some pig.
Like, that's when you're like...
I got some color too.
Right. Gosh, there is a family. I'm like family friends with this one family that's huge, and every single year they have to have a boar cookout because it's like, what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to like have 100 or 200 patties? We'll go through 200 patties and like they're
that big of a family.
It's huge, bro. 150 people is like minimum. Like that's not a good showing.
13 brothers and sisters, and they all have kids type deal. Dang, that's how like my family is, but they're not together like that. We're spread out.
Well, that's the thing. This family like all stick together, and they had 3 homes. Three brothers and sisters got these really nice homes all together, and so like it's just like this conglomerate house party, where it's just like this little part of a block. Just becomes this family's party, and it's really cool. And like
that's wild.
And they got like grill outs of pigs, and it's a whole deal. And that's why like I can kind of blend in because it's like who's gonna fucking notice I'm there? And occasionally some people do say shit, and I'm like, stop it! You're not even part of this family. I'm more part of this family. I know these people. Get the fuck out of here! You traveled from Louisville to get here. Get the fuck out of here! But yeah, I need to go back to those family parties. It's been a couple years, but those are fun.
Those family parties, not even part.
Not even part of it.
That's hilarious.
I haven't been in a couple years. I guess it's been since 2020 since then. So yeah,
Dang.
and those are fun, dude. I would definitely, if I had a big enough family, for sure. Like getting a boar would be amazing. Yeah, I mean it would be really fun.
I feel that. Man, I wish I wasn't broke and I could just eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted to.
I know.
I think I've probably said this so many times and geeked about it. They got alligator at Jungle Gyms. Mm-hmm. Man, like, if I had the money, I'd be eating alligator every day.
Yeah.
I haven't had it yet, so I don't know about that, but, like, I need to try it.
Like, if I had money wasn't a factor, and then land also wasn't a factor, I would definitely try to grow 80% of my like fruits and vegetables. That seems so doable. I mean, to grow like cucumbers and potatoes and tomatoes and like watermelon and peppers and onions and lettuce. Well, actually, I wouldn't want to do lettuce. Lettuce is a shit fucking. I would probably do like kale or like
kale over lettuce.
Oh, for sure. And then have a couple apple trees and like have a couple pear trees and like really try to like do 80% of what I consume on my own land, dude. That would be so amazing. And then on top of that, I got about 80% of my own vegetables and fruits. And then I'm going to go kill some like bear or alligator or boar or elk or deer or just anything. And you're like, yeah, I got supplies of meat for months. And then I got all these fruits and vegetables. I'm ready.
Could you imagine if
I'm
like
great.
the Native Americans didn't get kicked out and like that
Killed.
was part of our culture.
Right.
So like we were with the Native Americans, part of culture to like hunt and like have land still to this day. Mm-hmm. That'd be pretty crazy.
That would be interesting because they viewed materialism differently. They viewed land differently. I mean, obviously they believed in land occupation, which was very true. I mean, they definitely believed in land occupation, but they're a little more nomadic, obviously.
Right.
And so, yeah, it would be fascinating how they would change our day-to-days and like how we view food in general. Like right now, it's the way we view food is kind of not sustainable, really.
Dude, people, I swear that there are people, I double swear, quadruple swear that there are people that like don't understand where plants come from. And they look at produce, like at Kroger. They go to Kroger, they look at the produce, and they're like, ooh, look at this lettuce.
Right.
Man, I wish I could just make my own lettuce. And they don't know how to do it. Like, they don't. I have to say, I don't know how to do it. Let's be real. Like,
it's not that hard, man.
I agree. It's
not that hard. It's just dedication to it. It's dedication and balance. But go ahead, sorry.
I saw a video. This guy took lettuce, like the stalk, put it in like a cup of water, set out in the sun, and just basically started doing basic algaculture.
Yeah, of course.
And like that stalk would grow. Then you cut another one, and he had like 12 of these stalks of lettuce, and he was just growing lettuce in his house. And people were tripping like, oh my god, infinite food glitch. I wish I could do this,
dude.
You know?
So this goes back to when I was big into avocados. I started saving all my avocado pits, all the seeds, and then I started growing I started putting them in water and like just doing all the proper stuff, giving it sunlight, yada yada yada. And I had about 3 avocado trees in about 4 months. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I didn't look up how to transition because they were sitting in water. Right. That's how I grew all of the roots. And then that's how the trees were forming, was in water. And I didn't add any nutrients or anything. It was literally tap water I did it in. And so, like, they weren't perfectly healthy and they didn't have all the nutrients they needed. And so I was, like, trying to think. I was like, okay, so I'm going to transition them to soil. How am I going to do this? And I kind of did it stupidly. I just, like, raw dogged it. I took it out of the water. I let them kind of like sit for about a couple hours just out of water, just to kind of like harden up the roots, and then I put them into soil, and I was trying to keep that soil like
Moist.
kind of moist, but you don't want the roots to rot.
Right.
And that's kind of, I was trying to find that natural balance, but then it's just like the tree died from, I guess, lack of water. I was like,
Really?
Yeah, because I guess I didn't supply enough water, but I was like, if I supply too much water, I'm gonna have the like roots rot. So like I didn't really figure out how to properly do it. So all 3 of those avocado trees died in a couple months ago, and I'm really sad about it still.
Dang.
But like they were fantastic. I had like the tree stalk was so strong, stronger than a plastic pen, dude. Like I couldn't break this plastic pen. Like they were so strong. Like the tree stalks were so strong, and the leaves looked amazing, as big as my face, dude. The leaves were.
That's crazy.
And it was just from avocados from the grocery store. And I remember, like, you know how there's like that little myth, oh, those seeds from the grocery store won't grow. It's such a lie. I don't know where that lie came from, but it must be propaganda from food producers. Yeah, they're like, don't grow your own food because that stuff's not gonna grow. You know, like it's such a weird fallacy that we've kind of like all like nodded our heads to, and we're like, yeah, we have to just kind of go with the system. But like those fruits will come back. Like you can use those seeds. It's amazing.
I feel like we just don't have the materials to make them exactly the way they are as they are in the store. Like they might be a little smaller because you didn't add this nutrients to it or something stupid.
Well, it's that like if you're doing pots, it's not the same. You need to do true earth. You need to like, because true earth is literally like the whole biome. You know, when you have a pot, if you want that plant to be as good as the plants outside, you have to be able to create a biome and create like all the things necessary, like a community. I mean, plants are built off of community. They literally help each other. So like if they can't have any like a community support, they literally will just be dependent on themselves. Right. So it's like it's a little more difficult. And I remember I took apple seeds, and I put them in a wet paper towel, and I put them in the fridge for a couple months, and then I took those seeds out. There was like little roots, and then I put those roots into soil, kept the soil really moist because I wasn't worried about root rot as much for that moment. And the apple tree started to form, and like I kind of neglected it in its early life, so it died. But if I was like, you know, if I kept going and I was like sturdy with what I was going to do and my plan with it, I would have had an apple tree right now. And it's not difficult. It just takes time. And it's crazy how people are like, oh, time, you know? It's just like it's day by day, bro.
One of my homies in Dayton has like the blue banana plant. He has like a banana tree that he's been growing for I think 3 years now.
Fuck yeah, cool.
It's crazy.
That's
in
so
his
cool.
backyard. I drove by his house like 3 weeks ago, and I just saw it. It's still there.
Fuck
like it just looks like a tropical plant.
Really?
And he like it looked like he was about to like cover it for the frost. In like a little greenhouse tent. It's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, I had to take all my plants outside because just to absorb the sun. You know, best absorption of the sun is outside. So all my potted plants were outside. And then last night was the first frost. So I was taking them all in. And I'm like, I have this one plant, this tree right here. Dude, this tree is like 10 years old.
Jeez.
It's kind of what I would say is a mini bonsai. Like I say mini.
Feel it.
Kind of a larger bonsai tree, I would say, because this thing's fucking 10 years old, and it doesn't look that old. Obviously, like it looks pretty restrained, or like really restricted. But I'm pretty proud of my plants right now. I try to kill off a few so I'd have some more space in my apartment. But There
was a bonsai event I think last week at the Cincinnati Art Museum. I wanted to go, but I had work. It was on the weekend.
Yeah.
That would have been dope to go to see the bonsai plants.
I guess I went to go see the bonsai trees. They had like a few bonsais at the Cincinnati Art Botanical Garden, and like over by Hyde Park.
That's crazy.
And I saw a few of them, and they're great looking. And they are extremely hard to make. Like, you really got to put time, effort, and a lot of thought if you're going to do it. And I remember trying to make a bonsai tree out of a pine tree. I was like, really thinking about it. I was like, really, like, I've never seen a pine tree being created into a bonsai. So I was like, this could be fun.
That'll go hard.
Yeah. And so, like, I did it for a while. And then it's just like the pine tree. I was like, this isn't growing
fast enough.
Yeah. That's the biggest fallacy in your mind, is that this plant isn't growing fast enough. It means you're looking at it too often. Just go fuck off. Let it sit for a year.
Yeah, a year. Like,
let it sit for a
Jesus.
year. Like, you can't just think like, oh, month to month. You can't think day to day to it either. Like, these plants, I literally think about it once a week. And like, do I water? Do I not? And then boom, done. I'm done. I don't need to think about it anymore. Because once you start thinking about it, you start like, I need to clip this plant. I need to clip that. It's just not looking like, you'll just start fucking dwindling that plant because you're thinking too much about it.
That's what I did with my plants.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's like they got root rot. Like, both my plants got root rot just because of overwatering. But like,
did you drain them?
Like, dang, yeah, I had drainage,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing. Like, the drainage made the dirt seem super dry.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'll just let it be dry for a little bit. Like, I was just trying to like leave it alone and not mess with it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still healthy living, breathing, but then it like was just showing symptoms of root rot. Right. Even though it was dry, it was just like it still had too much water absorbed, which is kind of crazy. Plants are hard for me.
It's just, I just say like the only thing I found success is like going back to that thought is like I do it every Sunday or Monday. I just think for 5 minutes, do I water? Do I not? And that's the only thought process I go through. And it's like this plant that I have right in front of me is a dragon tree, and this dragon tree is like I overwatered it. Technically, I haven't watered it in like maybe 2 weeks. But I gave it a lot of water, and now it's got water at the bottom of its like little plate. And I'm thinking like, I'm going to keep the water at the bottom of the plate just so like when it's done with the water that's in the soil, then it'll like absorb the water in the plate too. I see. But like that, I don't know if that's a correct thought pattern too. But I've been doing it for about a couple years, and it seems to like help a little. As long as I don't overwater it. But like there seems to be a point where like the water in the soil gets absorbed by all the plant, and then it's like, where's the rest of the water? And then it's like, oh, you still got some. It's still got some. And then you're like, okay. And then like by next week the water will be gone for sure. But yeah, either evaporation or the plant sucks it up. So it's like, it's a win-win. As long as the roots don't rot, then you should have as much water for it as possible. As long as the roots don't rot. But that's like such a balance that you gotta find. That
is the enemy. Root rot is the enemy, the natural enemy.
And then it's also like, okay, what do you want? What are you trying to get out of this? Are you trying to get just plumage? Are you just trying to get like real nice looking plants? Or are you trying to have like actual fruit from it? Like, are you trying to bear fruit? And I had this little, I was trying to grow peppers. Ooh. Peppers. I was trying to grow green peppers. Ooh. And so I had about 4 green peppers under lights. I would water them all the time. They were fucking awesome. And I remember that it was so weird because I had all these seeds, and a few of them were green, but one of them was red. And I was like, what the fuck?
Like the pepper?
Yeah. The peppers were red. And I was like, this is fucking weird. But anyways, eating them, dude, it was totally like, it was like my epiphany with my smoothie. Same epiphany I had with my smoothie. Once I ate my pepper, it wasn't a pepper from the store. It didn't look as good as the peppers from the store. But it was my pepper. So I like when I like cut it, I literally just ate it like a fucking apple, and I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like, it was just so good. Just from, like, the whole fallacy, or, like, the whole thought pattern of, like, I created this shit.
Was that what drove the tasting it so good?
Oh,
Or did
for
it just
sure.
taste good in general, too?
I think it was fresh, though, too. It did taste good, but I think it was because it was literally in the ground. I popped it, and I ate it. It wasn't, like popped. And
someone
then
carried it.
it traveled 3 states.
Literally, yeah.
It
I feel that. It didn't die.
Right. It literally got to me at its freshest point, which was right from the ground.
Yeah.
And I think that has a huge contribution of freshness too. Like, if I try to start growing strawberries, but strawberries are difficult in my mind. I don't know.
Me too. Like, I feel like they get moldy so fast.
And also, like
so much can touch it. It's so weird.
in the whole, like, overwatering, but then you, like, there's a lot of issues where that plant is like it hangs down.
Yeah, it's a vine. Yeah.
Right, it hangs down, but then you need the soil to be kind of moist still, but then you need the plant to not touch the moist. Like, like, I was seeing how some growers were putting straw in between the soil and the plant itself, just to make sure that that the wet soil wasn't touching the wet plant or the plant, just so it wouldn't rot. And it was, like, really fascinating how, like, there's a whole kind of system to maximize that plant. I was like, I don't have the fucking time for this. I really just want, like, a plant that can just water and go fuck off.
Right.
That's the most ideal plant to me. Just water and go fuck off, and I don't need to think about it.
I've been obsessed with trying to grow, like, lavender, and that's
Really?
like the dirt that you need for that is, like, almost like desert-like, so, like, gravelly type of dirt. And you water it like a cactus. I assume like not a lot of water.
Right.
And that system was kind of intense for me. Like, learning about it, I was like, dang, now I gotta go buy gravel.
Right.
Can't water it. I already killed the seed, because I already put too much water. I didn't water it like a desert plant. I watered it like a, like a water plant.
Right.
How do I say that?
Yeah. No, I get it. Like, I have that cacti right there, and I also have that aloe plant, I guess. Right. And those two plants have soil that is from here.
I see.
So, like, we're in, I guess, like, we're in Ohio / Kentucky, and I took some soil from Kentucky, which is very clay-like and very kind of, it saps up water. Like, it really holds water a lot. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to go well. But I used that soil, and obviously I did the same regimen. I only water it once a month, and, like, but I'm going to tell you, that soil has kind of, like, saved. It's just, like, preserved those plants so well. Like, it's obviously not growing immensely, but I don't need it to grow immensely. I just need to stay alive and look healthy. And they've stayed alive, and they decently look healthy. And that's what kind of, like, shocks me about, like, I mean, yeah, you want the ideal soil of where that plant is from so it doesn't, like, wither away and die. But then also, like, I think there are some things you can kind of fuck around with and see if it, like, works or doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, fuck, dude, it dies. Who cares at that point? Like, you just got to throw it away and restart. But, yeah, cacti, I think I can keep cacti way alive longer.
I didn't end up touching them.
Really?
Being pissed.
Dude, I have one cacti that's supposed to be, like, they call it, like, a moon cactus or something. And it's just this little green stalk of a cactus, and then they put on this like, flowery cacti on top of it. And they're not supposed to be two plants that go together, but they just cut both of them, and then they apply them, and then they kind of grow together. And they're not supposed to live for longer than, like, a couple years. Like, they're just really ornamental. Right. And I've got that thing alive for, like, 5 years now, and it still looks like it's kicking, which is crazy. And it's, like, real bright colors still, and it hasn't flowered yet, but I don't think it's ever gonna flower. But yeah, well,
I went to Cali. I went to Fort Bragg, California. Cool. And it's, like, it's on the very left of Cali. Yeah. Northern Cali. And it's not too cold, so it's not too close to Oregon, but it's still pretty high up there.
Okay.
And I saw they had
Redwood area too, right? Or no?
No, I think Redwood is
More north?
Inner Cali. It was like outer towards the ocean.
Oh, okay.
And then there was a garden there. It was like a beautiful garden. It was massive, like miles of garden. They had all these rare flowers and plants.
Was it
and trees.
botanical?
Yeah, it was like
cool.
a giant botanical garden.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an aloe plant that was like taller than Ashley. It was massive. It was like twice the size of her. She's like 5'11".
Okay.
And like there was one piece of it like the little parts that hang off. And then she literally had to touch it. She had to like reach up and like to touch it, to grab it. It's pretty crazy to see an aloe plant that big. It's
they
nuts.
look so different. Like from what my aloe plant looks there and from what they look like actually in the wild, it's day and night, right? I mean, they have like wide blades. They're they're kind of more flower like. They have like a little more of the, I don't know. They're just more circular in a way.
Yeah, more symmetric, kind of like, I don't know.
Have you ever seen when they cut those things open? Like how big those out?
Wait, what do you mean? Cut them open?
How do I say this? How
like
about
the cut the leaf?
yes, and then see all the goo inside of it, and like they'll dissect it and like see all the byproduct inside of it. It's really weird. Like even last night, dude, I had to trim that aloe vera plant. I say aloe vera. I don't know if that's correct. I feel like whatever. I feel like that's correct. I don't know if it is.
I think that's the product that's inside of it.
Aloe vera. Oh,
That's
okay. So just aloe plant. I don't know,
yeah.
man. I know whatever. Anyways, I cut it, and the smell in my apartment was just so like pungent of the aloe smell, and it was just like it just infected this whole apartment for like hours, dude. I was just like, and you know how you can go to nose blind for a while,
right?
After a while, I couldn't go nose blind. It was still like there. It was still like I couldn't get. Was
it bad or was it like?
I mean, it wasn't like it was bearable. I wasn't like coughing and choking from it for sure, but like I was still like, this is noticeable. You know, this is notable for sure.
Was it like a pleasant smell or was it like not something that you wanted?
Right in between.
I see.
Right in between of pleasant and unpleasant.
So it's like, kind of like a normal smell, but not the typical normal smell.
Right. Yeah. I would describe it as like, you know, when you after you take a shit and you're like, do you think anybody will notice that smell?
And you kind of like have it in your nose.
Right,
Still.
you gotta have it in your nose. You're like, I don't want to turn on the exhaust fan to make it look like I did, but like, I feel like I can get away with this one. That's kind of how it was, for sure.
That's hilarious. There's a lot of benefits. People eat the aloe vera, like the goo. They eat it. They use it for burns. They do all type of things with it. It's pretty weird. We had it at Kroger at the distribution center, and like there was a box that was damaged, and I was about to throw it away, and I was just messing around, like throwing one at a time into the trash compactor, and like I threw it one at a time really hard, and like just splattered. The goo just goes everywhere. Okay. And then one of my homies was like, "Man, what is that? What the heck is that?" Right. And then I was like, "Oh, you never seen this aloe vera plant before?" And he was like, "No." And I was like showing him, like I cut a big leaf open, and I was like showing him the slime, you know what I mean? And he was like, "Damn, she's wet." I was geeking. That was so funny.
That's gross.
Yeah. And he was like, "Where do you get this again?" Like he was trying to buy some for some I assume like
for scientific reasons.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Got one of those homies.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that reminds me of our conversation last night of sex offenders and how popular they are.
Jesus, yeah.
In Cincinnati.
And in Ohio in general.
Yeah.
It's pretty messed up. And there was that case as well in Cleveland where they busted 160 sex traffickers. Right. They're trying to buy sex. Sure. Which is insane.
Yeah. Well, what got you onto that topic? It
was that news article, but I was looking for a place to live previously, and I was like, you know what? Let me make sure this is a safe area. Let's see how many like sex offenders are in this area. Sure. And like I was looking at it, and I had a whole ton of them just everywhere. And then I went like a couple of streets over into like a bad part of the city.
Yeah.
And it was like 5 in a row, house by house by house. Like they're just neighbors.
That's crazy.
It kind of made me like salty because I
Right.
was like, dang. So these people who did horrible things to
Right.
women and children can afford houses and do better in life than I can. It was
Well,
pretty.
they can do it to men too. You can be a sex offender to a man as well. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Come
There
on,
was
don't be
some women one. Yeah, there was some women one as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was
Really?
one that I saw in particular that was a you can become a sex offender for being a prostitute.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. So she was like some sort of prostitute. She was selling her body for sex or something.
Right.
Weird.
And she was a sex offender because of that.
Yeah.
That's
Because
sad.
it's illegal, right?
Well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
As American law, we don't. As American law, they don't look good at that stuff for sure.
That makes me wonder, like,
the
what
only
about this OnlyFans thing where like people are, send me this much money, and you can get this request, and I feel like some people have that as a request, like pay me $5 million,
Right.
can have sex with me.
Well, that's the thing where it's like the big paradox in those laws is where like, I pay you for sex, but don't worry, we're filming it. Where this is going to Pornhub, or this is going to be a pornography.
Even that's crazy, yeah.
But that's the loophole was like you could say it's for a film and you're like, oh, it's okay then. Don't you worry,
Man, that's messed up.
It's weird how that's legal and then like I'm not saying it should be illegal. Like people should be able to do whatever the fuck they want as long as you're not harming anybody.
Right.
But then you're like, but if it's not for a film, then you get put in jail. And that just seems so strange. You're like, cameras or no cameras? That's a big deal. And I don't get it. And also like how, I don't know. Actually, let's do this. Can you go look up sex offenders in the area? And I'm so curious about my last apartment, if there were
boy.
any, because I bet
You'll be surprised.
I bet there would be 4 on the block. I'm sure because I was in a scary neighborhood at my last apartment.
All right, I'm on that.
All right, can I
Sure,
type in the
see.
address because I don't want to say it on recording.
Yeah. Launching the search right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you can literally put in your address.
That's so funny. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, Preston was living in the hood.
Dude, I was.
Sketchy place.
Yeah, I mean it was such a nice place though, wasn't it?
Yeah, the building was kind of beautiful. Not gonna lie, like I was pretty jealous. It
Yeah.
had that big space.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say it was before? Like a bar?
It was an old bar. That's what I was told. That was an old bar. Do I need to add any more stuff than this, or is this good
I
enough?
think you need that zip.
Okay, I have to look that up then. Yeah, it was an old bar, and it had a checkered floor and fucking 15-foot, maybe 20-foot ceiling, but that was the thing. That was the sketchy thing is that it used to be a dance floor, and so there was this middle part of my living room that was a good foot or two lower than all the other spots because
People were always there walking.
and dancing.
That's
And
crazy.
so I would stand in this particular spot and I was like, damn, I feel like I'm going to fall through the fucking floor right now.
That's hilarious.
And I literally was always scared. Like I would just get in such a paranoia. I would be like, "Oh my god, I'm going to fall through the floor." But it was such a cool place because it had it was white and black. We had black walls, which was kind of weird, and
Yeah.
it had a white ceiling though, and all of the interior of it had such cool little features, and
yeah,
it
I
was,
agree. It was super dope.
so dope. It was such a cool place to just bring homies over to and just have parties at. It was a great
You did
place.
not have parties there.
Oh yeah, I had a few.
That's crazy.
I had I remember when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, I definitely had people over, and I remember thinking, I was like, am I liable if you fall through the floor?
That's hilarious.
I remember that thought pattern happening. I was like, you know what? Hopefully the landlord will be sued, not me. And yeah, dude, it was a great place though. It was a great price. I just didn't like my landlord. I just
Hey, yo.
wow, huh?
Oh, yo. You find a lot?
Wow, dude, I did. So there's one right next door.
Yeah, that's how it be. Didn't even know.
There was one right next door.
Does it say what crime?
Predator. That's
Yikes.
what he said. Oh wait, what's this one? Yeah, I don't want to say his name out loud because that's kind of dick of me. But
Really? Is it really? You need to send a picture. Put the picture up on the podcast. You can't protect this group.
No,
You can't
I don't want to put my address up there. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I feel it.
But yeah, what do you think this is? Pre-AWA. What do you think that is?
What? Like PAWA?
Pre-AWA. What do you think that is?
Ow.
Let's look what that up. Look that up. What's a pre-WA?
I do not know.
Isn't that crazy, dude? Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Right next door, I had one.
Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1.
Okay, so what does pre-AWA sexual predator mean? Under the Adam Walsh Act, people convicted of sex offense before January 1st of 2008 retain the same sex offender classification, registration requirement, and notification requirements that they would have been. Who cares? Okay.
Wait, so it's like they
were
did it a long time ago, but they still have to register?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's what that means.
So there was one right next door. There was one on my walk. Wow. And I knew that guy too.
No way.
I actually waved to one of these guys.
That's crazy.
Well, he was nice though. He was nice to me. That's the crazy part.
You might know. He might be into the boys.
Well, he wasn't into me, so that's a good part. That's fascinating, dude. This is real scary. I don't want to look up my current address. I don't want to give myself hysteria. Yeah.
Man, I don't understand what that means.
I think ignorance is better. It just seems like that he was convicted before 2008 or 9?
Yeah, it's so like...
I know. It's such a political jargon, legal jargon.
It's like they must register for life. Like you can't...
That's so sad.
Yikes.
Obviously they committed a crime that was probably egregious. So like, obviously...
I feel like
that's horrible, but man, also, it's also horrible to be like, if you're a human being who made a mistake and you recognize that was a mistake and you're no longer that human being anymore,
right?
But you still have to register. That's super sad.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
You
can like move. It's so weird. You can like move the.
I like how it gave you a radius, but it wouldn't say anybody outside of that radius.
You can move the radius.
Really?
You can increase the radius to 5 miles.
Yeah, that's a sad one, man. That's a sad one. It's funny how that was your thought pattern, that you're like, I'm moving to a new area. Let's look up sex offenders.
Because I think I gotta protect Ashley, like if I move somewhere and like, right. Sure, the rent's cheap, but how safe is it? Is Ashley gonna be okay at home, or am I gonna have to worry about someone trying to break in? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Pretty bad.
I remember wanting to move to OTR, and I started looking up like crime rates.
Pretty crazy.
On the block I was gonna move to, and I was literally about to move to the most dangerous block in Cincinnati. And I was like, but shit, dude, this is a great fucking building, though. Yeah. That's where I was like,
how is that even possible? You start thinking.
But that's the thing, though. Like, the price was reasonable. The land was reasonable. Like, and it was literally, it was the same square footage as my last apartment. It was like a 1,200 square foot apartment. Dang. It wasn't like super nice, but it was livable. Like okay countertops, okay plumbing, like all the get up that you need to survive.
Right.
And then there was stairs to go upstairs. There was stairs to go up to the balcony of the building. I say balcony. I guess just the roof of the building. Right. And you literally could see all of Cincinnati.
Dang.
From that roof. Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
And I was like, and I literally was emailing the owner of that property. I was like, is that my private thing, or is that for everybody? It's like, no, that's privately for you. Ooh. Because you're the top. That would be the top the top apartment. So that staircase was connected to the apartment. So I was like, dude, fireworks would be amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like that was literally the whole game.
Dude, I'd be outside all the time. Like, imagine all the fun things you can do on a roof.
Right. Sure. I mean, you could grill out on the roof as long as you don't start a fire,
sure.
You know. Like there's a lot of things you could do. You could have a fucking roof party. Like
dude,
how cool would that be?
If we had the podcast
on the roof. I know.
That'd be pretty fire.
I have
to see like Cincinnati, you see planes.
Can I tell you though? I would literally worry so hard about like a bird shitting in the mic, and I'd be like, how in God's name am I gonna clean out that bird shit out of the fucking grill of the mic? Like it would be horrible. I had a bird shit on me the other day.
Are you serious?
Seriously, like
That's crazy.
I was crazy because I was walking to class and like I had my headphones in, like I'm in the fucking like in the killer mood, you know? Like I'm like listening to great music. I'm walking fast. I'm just like I'm thinking I'm him, bro. Like
hey, yo, someone stop this man.
But the thing is, I literally had a bird shit on my shoulder and I didn't notice until I got to class. I was like, fuck, dude.
What is this?
What is this? Like, it was horrible. I was so sad after that. I was like, I guess I'm just bird shit right now. Like, this is sad.
My girlfriend got pooped on by a bird when she was a kid. And she said it was the worst thing ever because she had hair it got in her head, like right in her noggin. Yeah. And then she was like, what was that? And she touched it and she just spread it and it was on her hand. And she was like, ugh. Nasty.
Dude, it's so funny how I can recall the only other time I had a bird shit on me, and which was I was riding a bicycle.
She was riding a bike too.
Dude, that's the thing. I was like, you start doing the math. I'm riding a bicycle. I'm going fast, and this bird just happened. Don't sniper. Well, that's the thing, dude. This bird shitted on my hand while I was holding onto the handlebars. And I was like, and I just remember like it plopping there, and it was runny, dude. And it was runny, and I was running down my fucking arm, and I was like, stop! No. I literally got off, and I like put my arm down so the gravity would be beneficial. But then it started running the opposite direction. And you're like, stop, dude.
That's nasty.
And that's the weird thing is like, it just doesn't look like shit. It just looks like fucking weird alien goo.
Yeah. Dude, and like I didn't know, like the reason I even asked her, like, is because I didn't really know that bird poop had a smell to it. Because every time I see it, it's like hardened.
Oh, yeah.
Old. But yeah, when it's fresh, she was like, yeah, it smells like shit.
I honestly have never taken a whiff. If I'm honest, I never like
it smelled like shit. That's
really?
What she told me, yeah.
Huh.
Did you know that like birds would like gang up on what is it called? Those like like the little domes that talk to the satellites. What are those called? Like the dishes.
You know yeah, I mean? A satellite dish.
Is that what it's called?
Like, are you talking about like the military looking satellite dishes?
Yeah, that'd be on the ground.
Of course. Yeah. Okay.
So birds will like poop in those, and they did this at the Ohio base. Like if they poop on it enough, and it was like inches of poop on there, it like becomes acidic and it can like destroy that equipment. So they have to have people like
clean
scraping it out.
Right.
Which is pretty.
That's a horrible job. Yeah. I remember like watching this documentary on the first radio waves being picked up and like how they were trying to like create radio, and I remember them talking about how they were picking up bird poop on the radio waves. Like somehow, some way that like when they would poop on the radio antennas, they would still be able to like kind of get like some frequency from it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's weird. Birds work for the government. That's what I'm saying.
They definitely do. They definitely do. Ronald Reagan really instilled
them.
Right. Or maybe it was Nixon. Who knows, dude?
Man, the birds, dude. That's why you gotta, like, when bird poops on your car, you gotta get it washed pretty quickly, or it's gonna like destroy your paint.
It's true.
Lose all the paint.
It's true. I need to clean my car too. Having like, it's so satisfying to like actually like fully clean your car and clean your wheels and clean the inside. Like the last time I did that was this summer. I just like that was my whole day. Like I literally like woke up and like at 10 a.m. I started washing it. I started doing all the shit, and I didn't get done until like 8 or 9 p.m. because like I waxed it.
I see you.
You know,
I see you.
Yeah, like really going for it.
I just go to like Mike's car wash and like, I do the personal one though. I don't go through the machine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I went like.
You know what I'm saying?
I went like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I washed the Honda, but
Right.
I didn't dry it because I forgot my microfiber cloths at home.
Okay.
So I couldn't dry it.
Yeah.
And so I can't really get that color, you know what I'm saying? It just looks like you get the water streaks. And then like I am at my apartment there's a tree and there's a crap ton of pollen that comes off of it. So not only do I have water streaks, but I have like a little tints of orange from the pollen. And it just looks like I went off-roading, but I just cleaned it a week or two ago.
Dude.
It's so sad.
That's the thing. Like, so after that time this summer, I waxed my car. My car was clean for like 2 months. I didn't have to do anything. And then I was like, I should probably just wash it off, right? I'm just gonna do a little wash off. So I washed it off, didn't do anything, didn't dry it off, didn't do anything. And then the pollen hit, and then it just changed like the tinting of my car, and it just like looked like it looks like garbage now.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, come on. Like I spent so much time like waxing it and doing all these things, but then I just didn't follow up with my like last wash of my car.
Wintertime should be like honestly the cleanest time for cars, but with that salt, like
it's also like so much dirt on the highway during the winter. Yeah. It's just like it just seems like the wind doesn't really carry things as well, and it's just like it's also like it's not raining as often, and it's just like it just seems so much gunk really gets into
coming soon. Winter's coming soon.
Yeah. Which I love that though, because I busted out my jackets and I get to like actually like have a little more like outfits, and I like it.
I need to do something. I need money. I'm so broke. I want to buy so many clothes and be a consumer. Just buy random stuff and just be chilling. No, on a snow day, just be chilling at home.
Dude, it's so funny how like this is my 5th year into college. I haven't bought clothes since I was in high school.
That's crazy.
Like I haven't.
I do have a lot of clothes from high school for sure.
Yeah. Like I haven't bought anything because I can't afford it. But dude, shoes.
You buy shoes?
No. I want shoes so bad. I want. Oh man, I used to be such a shoe fanatic. I used to buy shoes all the time, but I haven't bought shoes in years. And like I'm starting like to really try to think about it. Like, I need these kind of running shoes. I need these kind of walking shoes. I just need those kind of. I just need like a whole new get up. Yeah.
I feel it. I usually buy clothes like Black Friday. Like a lot of companies have deals and stuff.
Right.
So I'll buy like 7 shirts, 7 pants every year Black Friday. I try to, but usually it doesn't end up that way because I'm broke. So it'll be like 3 shirts, 3 pants. So I still have like clothes from high school that I'm wearing, and I don't have a laundry machine at my apartment.
Oh, that's
so like
the worst.
I have to wear my clothes for a week, and I do laundry once a week.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Do you go to go to a laundromat?
Yeah.
And you just chill at the laundromat.
Last time I went to the laundromat was yesterday, and there was this. Oh, it's gonna sound racist. There's these 2 ladies, and one of them was getting their hair done at the laundromat.
Huh?
African American lady was getting her hair done at the laundromat.
Okay.
And she was probably like 300 pounds.
Okay.
And the person doing her hair was about 200 pounds.
Sure.
And you could tell they didn't shower. And like they had like a weave-in, and she was removing the weave from her head.
Yeah.
And this lady,
that's
you can
unlocking
tell,
smells.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
It smelled like raw onions and like chitlins or like pig that's just been sitting out. It smelled terrible. Ashley came out there and she's like, "Man, I got a headache, dude." Like, It reeked.
Really?
Just like all the sweat just in there, and the
Yeah.
fact that you could smell it. Obviously, they didn't wash their hair before they started doing this.
Right.
So it was just terrible. And not only that, but you're here to do clothes, not your hair.
Yeah.
You're not putting in a new weave at the laundromat. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate that laundromat because it's in like North College Hill.
Okay.
Man. And then also like you get the crackheads up you walking by. They're
Yeah.
doped up on who knows what.
Who knows what? They're itching.
Yeah.
They're always itching. They're like looking around real quick. Yeah.
And then you have the moms, single
Mhm.
moms, don't be buckling in their kids, be beating their kids at the laundromat. There's crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's this lady that was telling her kid like, "Shut the up!" Like, shut the fuck up.
Really?
Shit like that. It's like talking so rude to their kid.
Right.
It's wild to me.
Dude, I saw somebody in public, and this is just like a mom and her kid, and I don't know if so I'm walking on the street, she's in her car, okay,
Right.
and the kid's in the back seat, whatever. But she has her windows down, blaring trap music, blaring
Right.
rap music, and like,
Gangsta music.
bro, like, let me tell you, I am all for it. I'm all for like that kind of music. I love it. But let me tell you, she was damaging her little 3-year-old's ears. Like literally damaging her kid's ears. And it's like, dude, do you not have any awareness? No awareness.
Pretty bad.
Like it's like when dude, I saw people at the fireworks fest for what was that last holiday? Memorial
TQL,
Day,
Labor Day.
Yeah, Labor Day. And dude, people were bringing their babies. Their babies who were
Pretty
just fresh out of the vagina and literally going in to see fireworks. Explosions. They're going to see boom.
Yeah.
Boom. And they have no earmuffs on these kids. Like, these kids are going deaf at 13. Like, I'm
sure.
so positive of
What
that.
did you say?
Dude,
That's what they could be.
literally.
And a little earpiece in.
Dude, it's so insanity. I don't get that. Like, I don't get it at all. It's so irresponsible. But like, it's not like I'm gonna be like, hey, y'all, what's up? Like, I'm not gonna tell you how to
Dude,
parent.
I don't know. Like Kentucky and Cincinnati are so trashy in my opinion
know.
compared to anywhere else. Especially like
Dude, you're
at
coming
that
from small
sandwich.
city though.
from that sandwich area, like Cincinnati,
Yeah.
right by the lake, and then Kentucky, right by the lake. It's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
You mean the river?
The river? Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, you're just coming from Dayton, bro. Dayton's such a like.
Not even Dayton, Union, Ohio.
Yeah,
Clayton,
exactly.
which is even smaller.
That's
than Dayton.
that's suburbia thoughts, you know.
Rural. It's actually
Yeah.
rural.
Okay.
I'm not the suburbs. I'm in the rural.
Okay, still, bro, still. And that's the thing. Like, obviously, you see a lot of swamp people here, but I mean, you tell me, go to another city equally this size. You'll find swamp people.
It's the same
Yeah.
stuff, different colors.
Yeah. Same colors, bro. Usually it's the same. You'll find your whites, you'll find your blacks, you'll find your Mexicans. Like,
Yeah.
it's all the same. There's some Asians trickled in here and there. Like, it's all the same.
Dude, I just hate how the moms be tweaking, dude. Like, yesterday as well, I saw oh, that was loud. That's a soundbite.
Yeah.
There go my keys. There was this lady, and she was driving a van. She had like
Okay.
one of the sliding doors. Her kids were not in her seatbelt. She stopped at a red light, and I just see the side door like pop open at the red light. And I look at Ashley and I'm like, yo, what? I see
Right.
like 4 little heads, and I can see a car seat. So like 4 heads and a car seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, did the kid just open the door?
Mm-hmm.
What? Why don't you have that, child safety lock on? Like, what is happening? And then like you can see her like getting mad and like, like you could see her display of anger, the
Right.
body language.
For her kid opening the side door.
Right.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
you
yeah.
see the kid like stand up. And I'm like, he doesn't have a seatbelt.
Right.
There's no way he had a seatbelt on.
Yeah.
And then you see her like completely twist her body to grab that
Door.
and to try and close it.
Mm-hmm.
And she like closes it. She makes like 3 attempts. There's like 30 seconds of her just slamming it and slamming it and slamming it, trying to get close because it's such an awkward position to be in. To try and reach over and close that door. And yeah, like 2 of the kids in there, I definitely knew they didn't have a seatbelt because she told them to like go into the back or something, and they like just stood up abruptly, like just so quick. You know they didn't unclick that seatbelt. It's crazy. It's crazy. And like the whole time she was like going for that door, you know, her eyes are off the road. What if it turned green? You know,
Right? Yeah,
like, what are you doing?
I know. It's like I think there's like a mix between bad parents and bad kids, right? You know, like I remember sitting in the back seat of a car. This is like early in my youth, and I'm like I'm with this kid, and there's the mom, and I remember this kid was like, the doors were locked, okay, but we're in the back seat, and he's like he's just like fiddling with the door handle and like opening it and closing it, but obviously it's not doing anything. Right. But I just remember being like, man, you're risking it. You're really risking it right now. We're on the highway and you're fiddling with the door handle and just like opening and closing it just because of your entertainment. I just remember I was like, I'm not gonna be friends with any of these people. They're fucking out of their mind. Like,
that's hilarious.
Like as a kid, would you ever be like, oh, mom locked the doors, I'm gonna fiddle on the highway?
That kid. I was
really?
That kid. Yeah.
Dude, I don't trust you now. That's crazy. That makes me sweat. That makes me anxious.
I always made sure it was locked because I did have a fear of it swinging open. But I do more of what I do was messing with the lock button. I press the lock button.
Yeah.
And like switch it up, down, up, down for hours.
For sure. Bad. Dude, I would just open up like I don't know.
What, like a console or something?
Yeah, I would open up consoles, dig through shit. If there was a pamphlet or like the car pamphlet.
I see what you mean.
Oh, go through that shit. Be like, what's going on, dude? Yeah, of course. That was my fiddling. I was never gonna be like, I'm gonna risk my life with the door handle right now.
Do you remember like pressing the horn for the first time?
Oh,
or
car?
like one of the times, and like you're like, whoa, like a loud beeping sound.
I don't know, not really. I remember watching this video really recently though of a bulldog being left alone in a car, and so he got into the driver's seat. He put his paws up into the wheel of the car, and he started humping the wheel, and every single time he would hump, it would honk. Yeah, he was honking every time he was humping the wheel, and it was so funny because the owner is like videotaping this, and he opens up his car door, and the dog just looks over as he still is humping.
Oh my god!
And it's so funny.
Jesus.
Yeah. My horn on my car has come a bitch ass horn, and I don't like it. Every time I use my horn, I just feel like an inferior human being every time I use it. I'm like, ugh. I need a car with like a fucking actually manly
train horn.
Right. A fucking truck horn, like something.
My Audi is from 2001, and the horn has to be like degraded or something because it sounds like a clown car. Like,
like that.
Dude, it sounds like a fart. Like you can barely hear it. Like it sounds broken.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a fart. It's like beep beep, like a little fart. But like that voice expression I just did was way better than how my car sounds. It's so bad. It's comedic. Like whenever I lock my door, it looks like fart, like gas just went through a hole. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, it's just so comedic. I'm like, it's so embarrassing just locking the door. Like, sounds so trash.
Dude, when I first started driving, I thought my horn was broken because my wheel little spot where the horn would be was like just stuck. And I just like would try to use it for years, and I was like, it's just not beeping. I guess my horn just doesn't work. And then one day this guy cut me off, and I was like, I just out of instinct, I just hit it fucking really hard, and it scared the shit out of me. I was like, fuck. Like I literally jumped out of my own horn, and I was like, dude, it's been working all this time. Like it blew my mind for sure.
That's crazy, man. I don't like hitting the horn hard. Whenever like someone stops at a red light, I slightly press it for like 2 fingers.
I don't even like if it's a red light and it goes green and the person's in front of me. Like I'll just do a little beep beep. Like I don't
just
like,
be like,
I
hey,
don't,
get off your phone.
yeah, like that's such a rude thing to do, just to lay into the horn.
Yeah.
Usually I'm just a little beep beep, like not that much.
Dude, I feel like people will take offense to it because I take offense to it.
Right.
And it's like, you don't know what they're carrying.
Dude, and
Never
that's the
know.
thing. I've watched so many videos of people just like get out of their car.
Yeah.
And they're like, they have a bat or a gun, and they're like, let's start some shit right now.
Yeah.
And you're like,
It's wild.
dude, no, I don't need to do that at all. Let's not.
Short verse.
Literally. And then you hit a car behind you, and you're like,
Yikes.
it's not. Like, I watched this one video of two semi-truck drivers getting at it, and it was like in standalone traffic, and the driver in the front comes out of his car with a bat. All right, and the guy who's in the behind, they're both semi-truck drivers, but the guy in the behind gets out of his car with a crowbar.
That's
and you're like,
crazy.
how is this going to end? And it literally, like, you watch them talk, and then you start watching them swing. And you're like, once I start watching them swinging, I was like, I'm not watching the end of this video. This is a death video, yeah. And so I just like, and that's the thing, like, that scares the shit out of me, because it just reminds me of like when the 2020 riots were happening for George Floyd.
Oh my god,
And
that
there was,
BS.
dude. Well, that's the thing. There was a couple riots that went onto the highway in like L.A. and you see people just getting pulled out of their car because there's a riot going on around highway traffic, and you're like, dude, how defenseless am I in this situation? Like fully, like in my car, I'm toast, dude. I'm toast. Like you could
Just
get
lock it, dude.
No.
Oh, you got the G.
Yeah, I got
Yikes.
no. They could just carve right into my top, and I have
Yeah.
canvas. You're going right into it.
Dude, they're breaking glass anyway, so.
Right. It doesn't even. They could just literally get on top of my on top of like the hood of the car and just 2 kicks into the windshield, and it's open already.
Yeah.
Like that safety glass is pretty easy to get in. Like I've seen so many I've
So,
seen
like punching it open and stuff.
yeah, like there's been a couple of videos too. It seems like I consume this stuff all the time, but I really don't. But I saw one video too. This is a couple months ago of a guy riding his motorbike, and he just lands on top of the hood of a car because a car like cuts him off, and it was the car's fault. But anyways, this guy's literally like laying on the hood of a car, and he like stands up, and then he just does one kick right into the windshield, busts it completely, and it's like, and he literally, if he did one more kick, he would have been in the car.
Dang.
And it's like, that stuff is not secure. Like, it's not keeping you from the person outside. It's really
Yeah.
not. Like it.
At least a stock one.
Right. Yeah. You're not in a fucking presidential
Yeah.
Escalade.
Yeah.
You know, you're in a traditional car
Stock car, yeah.
that it's supposed to keep the rain out, not people. You know? Ugh.
pretty bad.
It's scary.
Dude, I don't know if this is BS, but like, I mean, think about like, with all the money that was donated to Black Lives Matter, I feel like not much has changed for African American people in the U.S. Like, I feel like
Right.
they abused that money, the leaders of that organization.
I totally
It
agree.
was said that like they used that money to, for themselves.
One of the Black Lives
like,
Matter people bought a
houses,
mansion.
yeah.
Bought a mansion afterwards.
Yeah, like
Bro.
what?
Yeah. How could you be part of a nonprofit and you make a fucking profit?
Yeah, what?
That doesn't make any sense to me.
I heard that the people that started it
Mm-hmm.
didn't support Black African Americans. Also, like that was their thing. Like, they didn't.
They didn't give a shit. They
Yeah.
just got the
Check
They
and
just
left.
got the name, bro. They got the name. You know, they got the
That's
yeah.
so effed up. That's
Right.
so effed up. And they're Black too.
And that's the thing, dude. It's like I'm for the movement. That's cool. That's a cool thought that like everybody should have equal ability to have good schooling. Everybody should have good ability to get great jobs. Like disparage of living shouldn't be a thing. Like you
Right.
really should be able to dig yourself out of a bad situation if you are born in a bad neighborhood. That seems
Yeah.
and it doesn't like it. Obviously, this should just not be for the blacks. This should be for
Everyone, yeah.
everyone,
For
right?
sure, because it is not just the blacks. There are white
No.
people, there are Mexicans, there are Asians that are like
Right.
in crappy situations. Look at, Eminem and 8 Mile.
Right. Exactly. So it's like, okay, how can those situations be fixed? Like, how do you not have that situation happen? But then it's just like, okay, so what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to donate to people?
Money,
Right.
or fix the grocery stores, or fix the infrastructure.
Right,
There's like
right.
so many aspects. I had to do like a project on this, and I was determined to solve poverty in Dayton.
Okay.
I was determined.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
determined. I got on the news.
Stop
I was
it.
determined. Did I?
Okay.
But like, I figured there's just so many aspects. There's so many things that look at. There's so many bars on the cage. Like, people, I feel like in downtown Dayton are in a
That's
trap.
a good statement, by the way. There's so many bars on the cage.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like,
Keep going.
The way I thought of it was like, you're the bird. You have wings. You're trying to fly away, right, and reach greater heights. But like every single bar, poverty, bad food, bad schools, bad houses, bad roads.
Bad family dynamics.
Yeah, the influence of your family. That's another thing. Yeah,
And influence of your neighbors, too.
exactly. The
Like,
community.
right.
Bad community.
Because your parents don't raise you. The community raises
Right.
you.
It's trash. So trash. And it's like, well, if you solve one problem, there's still 7 more problems.
Right.
It's like, bro.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, they always go to, like, okay, so if we do pump millions and billions of
They
dollars
should
in.
fix it.
Right.
No.
And then, well, they're always like community centers. But, dude, I get it. Community centers are something. But it's not like a fucking YMCA is gonna make you feel happier. It's not like a YMCA is gonna be like, oh, now everything's good, Like, it's just like that kind of shit really gets under my skin. And it's also like, it's not a black and white situation. Like, it's not like there's no clear-cut solutions. There's only trade-offs with everything. I mean, like, there's no good solutions, really.
What I figured was like, it's up to that bird. Like, you literally have to try so hard. You have to try so freaking hard to like succeed in school, succeed in your life, start something, do something productive, like get good habits. You really have to train yourself and lift yourself and bring up as many people as you can, which is sad.
It's hard
to do because of all the influence that you have, and people like the teachers in like Dayton public schools. I've heard that they literally tell their students like, "You ain't gonna be shit." That puts people down. Like,
Right.
And their kids are like, "Oh well, I'm just gonna be like my father." What does your father do? Does he have a job? No.
Right.
And it's like, man.
Yeah. And I think that really does have a thing too of like it's not they did this study where they took 2 classrooms, and one classroom they just had the kids. They didn't say anything to the kids. They're just like, do your homework, do your test, blah 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 blah. And then this other classroom, which they were like telling the kids, you guys are smart, you guys are intelligent, you guys could do stuff. That class, who only just got words of affirmation, did better on their tests, did better on their homework, and did better as regular students. And they were happier too, which is crazy. And so like the words really do change an outcome. And like it really does affect you. Like if you were growing up and everybody was telling you, you're the smart one, like that does something to you for sure. And obviously that's not, I mean, I'm not just going to be like, oh, that's what we'll do. We'll just tell kids that they're great. That's not going to change shit either. But like, that's a start. I mean, like that's a good foot in the right direction for sure.
Whenever I see people that are like, I can tell like, man, you got rough. Mm-hmm. I always like try and be nice no matter how mean they are, because that's like, you can tell it's like just self-defense at that point. Like you're just trying to defend their ego because it's already so small from everything they've gone through and whatnot. And it's gotta be like, even though they might be like, fuck you, you gotta be like, I love you, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
It's like, it's the greatest reflection. They got that all of their life. They've been beaten down their whole life. So like the only thing they know is to be a fucking asshole, because people were fucking assholes to them too. And I mean, like, thank God for the internet though, because right now I'm able to listen to thousands of different podcasts of like cool people who do cool stuff, and they have a lot of motivation, and they really are into their craft, they're really into their work, they're really into talking and explaining about their craft and their work, and that's beneficial. I mean, like, it's not perfect. It's not like I can just go around the corner and see somebody who's really motivated, but like at least I can go into the internet too,
Right.
and like, you know, see that there are examples out there in the world that do make a good life for themselves and enjoy life and like really maximize what this life is. And like, ideally, those people are in your community. Ideally, those people are in your community for sure, but not everybody gets that benefit.
Right. Have you heard of like, I feel like a lot of people say this, like their solution is like, even if like Cincinnati, like raise the rent, all people that can't afford it, they leave or become homeless, or they rise up and make a way to afford it, and they try hard, and then bring in new people, get all the old people out that are poor and suffering, bring in all these new people, raise all the prices so the bad people, air quotes, bad people can't be there no more.
Right. Gentrification.
I feel like that's kind of what they did in Cali, right? For all the homeless people, and then like rents like skyrocketed. It's so expensive. Cost of living skyrocketed, but
Cost of tents, cheap. Right.
for sure.
Cost of tents.
Have you heard? That's a thing, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's basically the pure model of gentrification. You know, this area is bad, so we're gonna redo a lot of it. But then when you redo a lot of it, you have bills to pay. So, and then you also have a nice area. So you're like, I want to get the bang for my buck, right? So then I'm gonna charge higher rent than what it was originally, and then you kind of have to force all those people who can't afford that rent to go out. And yeah, I don't know, man. That's a subject I just don't know. I'm just not well versed in like what can you do in those situations to benefit the people who don't have many options.
Right.
You know?
I feel like,
and everybody really just wants to be happy.
right.
And that's everybody's goal. How can I be happy?
Yeah.
And obviously
peaceful.
And peaceful. Yeah. And everybody's like, and everybody wants to belong too. Everybody wants a community. Everybody wants friends. You know, it's cool to have a Sunday where you go see your family and you eat with them, and like that's a great life.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, not everybody's life is going to be exactly the same. Happiness is not the same for everybody, but it would be nice to, you know, see a world where you can kind of move in the right direction for everybody to kind of live harmoniously.
For sure. I think that a lot of people think, what is it called?
Gentrification
is like a good solution to making something better, but
yeah,
I don't like it,
dude. So Vine Street in
right.
Cincinnati is the greatest example of gentrification. So the north part of Vine Street is what some people would say is scary. Is, you know, there's a lot of boarded up buildings. What seems like there seems a little poverty here and there, and there seems to be just like, oh, you know, it's not appealing. It's not
right.
visually
not
appealing.
Somewhere you kind of want to be.
Right. It's not some place that you know go and have dinner at. But then on the south part of Vine Street, where Liberty Street cuts it off, is where all the gentrification happens. All the buildings are redone, and all like there's potted plants, and the buildings look beautiful, and there's glass buildings, and like there's just like a lot of gentrification that's been done. And you see a lot of white people, right? But then when you go to the north part of Vine Street, you see a lot of black people. What a weird thing. What a weird thing that we all accept. You know, and I'm not saying that like, I don't know, and it's just like, everybody should be happy. Everybody should just kind of have opportunity. Everybody should be kind of striving for harmonious balance. But
right.
like we're all like, the only solution is gentrification in this society so far. You know, how do we make a bad area good?
Right.
And it's like you can't just kick everybody out.
Yeah.
That doesn't make that you didn't solve anything. You just kicked people out and you just displaced people.
Yeah.
You know, those
kind of
people
reminds me of Islam, bro. What's going on right now?
I know, dude. I don't want to go into that subject yet. Honestly,
Bro,
I don't want, like, there's so much you
Dude.
could talk about. There's so much you could talk about with, like, Israel and Gaza Strip and the West Banks, and, like, how that's a whole situation where people were displaced. Hundreds of thousands of people were displaced. It's like 600,000 to 700,000 people. 600 to 700,000 people were displaced in 1947. And at this current moment, there are people displaced. There's a couple 100,000 people displaced right now from the Hamas and Israel conflict. And I mean, like, the death tolls are only up to like 2,000 right now. And I say that's so sad. That's so sad still, for that 2,000 people had to die for this conflict. But there's got to be better solutions, bro, than just fucking shooting and gunning down people and sending missiles. And, like, dude, it's crazy how we can't just talk it out.
I mean, it's only human. It's only human.
Is
it wrong for humans to act like humans?
You know, that's an interesting statement. And that means that humans only act out of violence. And I would say is not true. I would say that we could also act like humans by being harmonious. We could also act like humans by being nice to each other. We could also maybe act like humans by, like, you know, of course we kind of need weapons to kind of make sure that we're okay. But I think we could also be humans and be like, we got the weapons, but let's not use them. Let's not kill innocent civilians in the process of it.
It's kind of crazy. It's like, and the way I think about it, it's like, if I kill your sister, wouldn't you kill mine? But then that's like an eye for an eye. What makes it right for you to kill my sister? Where's the justice in that? You know?
Yeah.
It's like some Batman shit. Like,
and that's the thing where it's like, that's where democracy and, well, not democracy. I mean, that where the court of law comes from. And tries to stop the cycle of violence, because that's a cycle of violence. Because once you kill my sister, then I go kill your sister, and you're like, bro, you just killed my sister.
Now I'm gonna kill your whole family,
right? And then you're like, I gotta kill your family now too, and it's just like that's a whole cycle.
Yeah,
it'll never end. It'll never end. Yeah. So that's why you need, you know, a justice system, a system where your peers judge if you were innocent or guilty. You know, were you provoked or unprovoked? That's a weird thing too. That's a weird thing where they're like, the Hamas terrorist group was unprovoked when they attacked Israel, and you're like, come on, bro, it's not as simple as that. It's pretty crazy. It's not as simple as that. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of moves going on.
There's a lot of acts of violence going on.
Yeah. And it's a scary world where, like, so there's a new bill trying to get passed, or it's being proposed at least, is that we're going to send money and munitions to Israel, and then we're going to send $100 billion to Ukraine. And then we're also trying to get into a deal where we're going to supply Taiwan with munitions, which traditionally right now Taiwan only buys munition from the United States, but soon we're trying to figure out how to have munitions supplied to Taiwan without them paying it. And so, which is
that's ridiculous, scary,
dude. Well, the thing is, that's what we're doing with Ukraine and Israel. Did you know Israel gets $3 billion a year from America?
That's so nuts.
$3 billion a year.
Imagine how much we could profit off of that. You know, that'd be crazy.
We could rebuild.
They probably couldn't even like afford that. Let's be real.
What?
$3 billion? Like giving us $3 billion?
Oh no, they got problems. Yeah, they got problems.
They're in war.
Yeah. Well, they're in war, and then they're also apparently they're having parliamentary issues. I don't know if they have a parliament or if they have a Congress. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but. That's 3 different places in the world where we're trying to have a proxy war.
It's pretty wild.
And that's 3 different fronts, bro. You know how I'm gonna go back to World War II. You know what fucking thank God Hitler wanted to go into Russia and he wanted to fight on the Western Front, right? That's what split up that power, and they crumbled from it, you know. And I'm obviously like, I don't know, it's just straining us thin, and that's like the battle against democracy and communism is just ever so there.
Everlasting.
Yeah.
They need a fucking justice system.
It's literally there's 3 different types of groups right now in the world. There's what we view as terrorists, and then there's communists, and then there's diplomacy. And we're literally, as a democratic republic, we are at war with both terrorists and communists. There's a lot of terrorists in the world that we view as terrorists, and then there's a lot of communists in the world that we view as communists. So it's like, bro, can we not be at war with everybody? Like, can we just chill out? Like, I just want a world where we can be safe and also harmonious and happy, you know?
I feel that.
Everybody just wants happiness, and everybody just wants food on the table for their children. That's all everybody wants. That's literally all everybody wants is just...
Civilians don't care. I feel like it's all the trigger-happy bosses and
the
military.
Elites.
The military and the elites are the only ones that want beef. I swear.
They're so hungry for that. It's absolute power corrupts absolutely. And it kind of seems that there's a lot of absolute power right now. And it's our systems are just not perfect. Like, how do we get into these fucking military deals day in and day out?
Could you imagine if we were like one sovereign Earth?
No.
That'd be crazy, dude.
That's the thing where it's like, if we're one sovereign Earth, it just feels like a fallacy. It doesn't really.
I feel that, like, the world debt has reached.
Dude.
Like, where. Like, what. Like, when is. What. Like, I don't think any foreign government we have right now could support the whole world.
Oh, no. And I don't.
This is crazy.
And that's the thing where it's like, how people are so different. People govern
different languages, different cultures, different rules in their cultures.
And there's different societal rules.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if you, like, as the United States of America, we're not comfortable with paying high taxes. So we're not comfortable with having the government support anybody.
Right. But in Canada...
the Netherlands, Switzerland, Finland, they're like really they're really big into high taxes and having the government deal with healthcare and having the government deal with like a lot of subsidies. But as Americans, we're like, no, we want freedom.
Right.
We want less government. Well, at least like what the Republican Party believe in. It was less government and self-governance. Okay. And and I don't believe in Republican or Democrat, but I like the idea of less government.
I feel that.
Dude, less government, the better. The less fuckery, the better. The less spending on war, the better. You know, we might as well just figure that out in private industry, because private industry is so much better than government.
Right.
It's time and time again how the government uses private industry to benefit. Like, for all the war contractors, they're all contracting companies. They're all private industry. Why do you think the government does that? Because private industry is far superior in running than the government is.
It's crazy. Yeah, like all their ammunition, I'm pretty sure, is made by private companies.
Absolutely. Private contracting companies. For sure. But then those companies lobby.
What?
Who knew? That's crazy. Nobody knew that shit. What? They lobby? Stop it.
Man, I love America.
I do
The
too.
rich just get richer, bro.
Dude, I do love America. And I love like all the things that are going on. I love the cultural like aspects of it. I love that the internet's booming here. I love like all the benefits of being an American. I love turning on the TV on Sunday and you see fucking football. You don't see news. You don't see the world news. You don't see what's going on domestically. You see fucking football.
More important than anything.
Bro, it's a weekly holiday we have.
Yeah,
It's
for
football
sure.
day. And it's not even weekly. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's crazy. But I love it. Like there's so many aspects to love about this country. And but there's a lot of weird shit too going on. Yeah. You gotta wrap up? You gotta go?
Wrap up.
Alrighty.
Class.
You got class at what time?
2.
Woo!
Yikes! Time
Alrighty.
slip.
This has been a fun one. Yeah.
Go to Silver Fork. Let me get the name. This is for the podcast people.
What is it? What are you talking about?
It's like a store where you can buy like exotic meats. Like you can buy goose.
Let me see this.
Crocodile.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, go to
One of the chefs told me.
antiwar.com. Go to antiwar.com. That's a fucking website, bro.
Preston's hyped about that one.
I am, because I'm finally got some like interesting news that I don't know if it's biased or not, but
All right.
it's
Yeah.
pretty fascinating.
You guys need to go to Wild Fork. If you're in Cincinnati, go to Wild Fork. You can buy all types of meats. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And
Some
have
octopus.
all right.
You know.
Yeah. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, cool. Well, have a great day, people. Enjoy yourself.
The Oruga Podcast.
Somehow somebody's always looking the other way. Now look at these guys. They look busy, right?